Hello, guys. It's a tea time, and I said in Twitch chat that, no leaks, guys, but I said Deroy was going crazy in the pre-call, and man, it was, oh my goodness, it was intense.
Jeez.
I brought Deroy on for some positivity, high energy positivity, but I'm just not sure if we can really rely on him for that. Unfortunately, that might not be happening right now, guys. But we do have a few things to talk about. This week, and I think, well, the most important one is that the surprise World versus World announcement. Okay, the snow came, the snow delayed the announcement, but we still got there in the end, and we find ourselves with a new mount in World versus World. It's certainly not something I was expecting at all. Actually, I did not expect that. But I built it. To be fair. Some of my lads did predict this. They said, "Yeah, it's good." I'm not sure if they were like joking or not, but yeah, there's going to be mounts in World versus World. First gliding, and now it's mounts.
I think a lot of people were just kind of joking around with the least likely thing to enter the scene. That's at least what I was experiencing. A lot of people saying mounts just because, well, it seemed very, very unlikely, and that would be funny if it happened. And then it happened.
Yeah.
Like it took them so long to do it. Even I was like, "Oh, I guess they're not going to do it." And then,
yeah.
I'm actually excited for it. I am.
Okay.
Because I mean, a lot of people are giving the mount a bit of shit. I'm actually pretty excited to see how it'll change things up, because it'll only be very minuscule changes. Like I genuinely don't foresee any major unless the engage skill is absolutely broken and like applies all conditions, and all you got to do is just completely boost your condi damage and you just maul everyone. Unless that really happens, I just don't really see it being all that impactful. I think it's more going to be just the steady flow of players around the map, like the general movement around the map. But yeah, so I'm excited.
Yeah, not everybody's going to have it right away either, and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to add that depth that World versus World is needed for some time, but it's not going to be like, oh, here's a whole new game and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it's unlikely. I mean, I am really worried about it. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. If it changes the World versus World metagame radically, that will actually probably be enough to make me not play World versus World. But I think that's extremely.
But you're already
unlikely.
not playing it, mate.
Well, yeah. Well, no.
I mean, I don't think that really counts.
I am returning. Okay.
I saw your return the other day. You were screaming and shouting at how badly you hated this.
Look, it was horrible. Seriously,
players are horrible.
The players are horrible, dude.
People should go.
Like they can't even cast wells, man. Kevin, no, okay, fine. I really think a lot of people will be turned off. A lot of the veteran players will be very much turned off. If mounts are actually a really big part of the gameplay. I don't think it's very likely though.
What about the veteran players who've been waiting for a drastic change or something like this to get back in? What about the ones that are like a year ago are like, no, I'm done. Path of Fire has ruined this, and I just can't take it no more. And now they're bringing this mount, and they're like, all right, I'll go back, and maybe they'll get reinvested.
Because I think the best way to fix the massive problems in World versus World, instead of like by Band-Aid fixing it with another mechanic, is to actually fix the underlying issues.
But is it a Band-Aid?
Yes.
I think this was. I really feel like everybody has turned this into let's just throw them something to give them time, instead of ANET finally going, well, we got this done, let's release it. I really feel like that's more of the attitude in this, is ANET got it done, they want to get it out, they want to get all the bugs fixed, and then alliances, I don't know, 5 years down the road, whenever they get that done.
Yeah, that might take a little while. I mean, it's fair enough. I think there has been I think the reaction from the community has been a little over the top, shall we say? I mean, it's not that bad. And as I said, I don't think it's going to be the biggest of deals. I think the major things to note about the mount, guys, it's probably not going to have that much health. Okay, if you get knocked off the mount while you're on the mount, okay, you get stunned for like 3 seconds or something, and you're dead at that point, okay?
Yeah.
The only thing I can really see happening, and this probably will happen, I'd be I can say like warriors, okay? Warriors being off to the side, then like leaping in on the mount and bubbling people. Then again, you're a warrior. You don't really need a mount to do that. Like you're already kind of fast. So I think there's not going to be too much application to it. But again, a lot of people have been driven away by the balance. Like Path of Fire has really like memed everything. Like it's become very much around like ranged combat with like a lot of AoE spam, Scourge just kind of destroying everything, right? It's not been the best of times, like, and saying, aha, you know how we can fix all this pirate ship business, okay? Tell you what, we're going to have a mount so people can leap into each other. Like, so instead of addressing the underlying balance problem, they're just going, we'll just give everyone like overpowered mobility. Like, I don't even think that's going to happen, but I think that approach is just wrong from a game design standpoint, right? I think the actual correct approach would be to fix the actual balance issues, no? Or maybe I'm crazy.
You are correct in fixing the balance. I don't think they're adding this to do anything to do with any of that stuff. I think they're adding in these mechanics now to balance them later.
Yeah, and I think that's it. And I think this is actually okay. So Zorak has just touched on the ultimate point here, guys. And this incidentally is actually what has triggered people the most. By the way, okay, this change is not aimed at players currently in World versus World, right? Okay, this is aimed at people who do not play World versus World. Okay, it's aimed at the player who says, "Oh, dude, I like mounts. World versus World has a mount now. I want to get in that action." You know, it's trying to appeal to the external, the external player base surrounding World versus World rather than the players already in there. In fact, I think a good chunk of players. Within the game mode kind of don't really want mounts. I think a lot of the people who invest the most time probably don't want it. Okay,
but I mean, let me just cut in for a second, because I don't mean this in a negative way towards the World versus Worlders, but is that really a bad thing? Wouldn't it be a little bit more, I don't know, of a mismanagement to focus on the vast minority of the player base?
I think
I'm halfway joking here, by the way, but
it's actually
that's basically what's happening here, right?
That's a very
the World versus World veterans are a vast minority. Like it is among the three main minority groups: the Raiders, the PvPers, and the World versus Worlders. So obviously, Arena is going to, ahead of their big change and everything for the World versus World, like the veterans, the alliance system and whatnot, which supposedly should be the change for the veterans. Ahead of that, they kind of need a few more people in, I guess. They want to incentivize people, I guess.
Yeah, and that is going to be good, but they're going to join, they're going to get them out, and they're going to leave. It's entirely possible they probably won't enjoy the gameplay that much, because World vs. World is a bit of an odd one, right? I think it's quite almost like a specialty game mode in a way. It doesn't appeal to everyone, and that's how it is. That's fine. So it's kind of like, we're going to bring people into World vs. World with this mount, right? And then they're going to get the mount, then they're going to leave. So, I mean, how much is that going to be? They might enjoy the gameplay and stay. Well, the thing is, like, World versus World gameplay, if you're new to it, is in its current state is not that good. Okay, if you're new, you're going to get hit by 50 Scourge Wells and Shades and Revenant Hammer skills. You're going to fall over and you're going to die. And it might not be, you might not enjoy it that much. It might be a bit annoying. So I think actually the key to retaining players would be to kind of restore some semblance of fun balance to the game. I think I don't think there are that many. I think you'd struggle to find a player that would say that the state of World versus World class balance and design is actually good right now. And hey, as Mike says, there's a balance patch coming, so who knows?
But to be honest, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think that new players or players that aren't playing World versus World right now, so to speak, or haven't in any big capacity. Sure, there are veterans and whatnot that go out of this the statement that I'm going to make, but I don't think the vast majority of the players that haven't played World vs. World aren't doing it because of the balance. I think it's just a much more of a fundamental thing with the actual game mode itself. It just doesn't appeal to everyone. There's a lot of there's a lot of weird factors to it. Having to run vast distances, dying all the time, capturing points and keeps for no particular reason other than the fact that you want higher points per tick, or fighting players because it's fun. It's just that it just isn't necessarily fun for everyone, and I don't think that a balance is necessarily going to change that for a lot of players, or the vast majority even.
Oh, I
think it'll change it. It'll change it for a good amount of players, and myself included. I'd love to see some balance changes. I'm not at all opposed to that. I'm just saying I don't think actually balance is the most important thing to bring in and retain player attention. I just don't.
I think there's a big argument to be made that it's the actual inherent systems of World versus World that need to be reformed over anything else. Actually, and to be honest, I think that's a part of why we actually got a mount. It's because ArenaNet just kind of looked at it and go like, where do we fucking start with this? Like, I only think it would take so long to just repair the... Because look, the last World vs. World update was about 1.5 years ago. That was the skirmish update, right? And there's been a smattering of quality of life updates before that. So there's obviously not... Look, guys, let's be real here. There's obviously not a lot of resources going into this, okay? So... I think a lot of the developers are probably looking at it and going like, okay, like what can we even do, man? What can we do here to fix this problem? So yeah, it's that's why we see updates like the mount, and yeah, like the systems, like the kind of inherent meaninglessness in the game mode is inherently problematic for a lot of players. But truth be told, like this is where I would start to criticize management, honestly, because I think actually ArenaNet like it that way. I think they like it meaningless. As with a lot of the content in the game, they like it to have no oomph behind it, right? Like it's like everyone gets a participation trophy kind of mode,
everyone gets participation trophies all around in every game mode.
And doesn't that like prove the theory that like this is sort of like releasing something that they've just got done versus like, oh yeah, we're improving World versus World. This is going to change lives. This is more like the developers got something into position and they're like, here, have it. Because we know that if the game mode actually had objective based things, that winning mattered, that I don't know, if there was something, just an overhead of you get something bigger than just saying you won that week, because who won 2 weeks ago? How many people remember who won 2 weeks ago? Just the servers that are winning, more than likely.
I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. Like it has become meaningless in the form of the game mode itself is meaningless because there is no actual winner. We need something for our time or something for our efforts, and maybe then we'll see the game mode change and World vs. Worlders not just showing up for I don't know, ego boost. I can't really explain what this feeling is, but me as a World versus World, I started in World versus World. I was born and bred, stuck it out with IOJ, and when they cut the servers down, that's when I knew like this is bad. Like either ANET just doesn't want the game mode to succeed, or the players have slowly poisoned it to death. And I think it's more from ANET than I think it's more from ANET than the players, but I think the players too, worried about Siege and how to fight the Siege and things like that, has created this ship tech battle. And then when Path to Fire came, it was just the nail in the coffin. It was just like, now we just need Scourges. Anything with Scourges, Rams, and Catapults. Like seeing a Trebuchet is probably only on the servers that can actually compete each other, or memeing it up. A meme Treb is always the best Treb. So
on your first point, I'm very much with you there, sorry. Because we've been saying a lot when it comes to releases from ArenaNet. We've been criticizing them a lot for not releasing things when they're ready, and you should just put out this one feature if it's ready to go. And this is one of those cases where they're actually putting out a single feature thing just because it's ready. It seems it's not being bundled in with everything else. It's not a mount coming with a living story, but it's in World versus World. Like this is just a mount, and I actually applaud them for that, for just putting it into the game when it's ready. I think credit where credit is due. Oh, sorry. Clap.
Yeah. But just to play devil's advocate there, I mean, would you? I imagine you can go into the future and the mount has actually been a detriment to World versus World. Are you still a clap? Well,
now that it's only introduced as the only thing, they have more. I would assume, at least I would hope. Cross my fingers. They have more space, mental, whatever. Well, this is probably a bad time, but anyways, they should technically have more mental space to kind of handle the bugs and the balance fixes and everything around it, to fine tune it much more than they would if they were flooded by a million other different lines of codes that were going into the game at the same time. So there's the opportunity right now that it's coming in as a single thing for them to fine tune it better, because they've said that, because it's a PvP game mode. It's going to rely heavily on balance, and so we can only assume, well, they're going to be quick to touch on it, or at least quicker than other things to touch up on it and adjust the major issues that might be happening. Who knows?
Yeah, and I think IrenaNet will be cautious with this. They're always very one thing. Whenever you see a balance patch from ArenaNet, you'll always go, huh. Okay, not bad, but it's kind of like, little. This is the balance. Here we go. A few little steps in that direction. That's how it always goes. So I'm expecting the mount to be a bit weak, if that makes any sense. Like I'm not expecting, like, oh my god, this is so OP. It's probably gonna be like, okay, all right. This is this is like a taxi to get from tower to tower, kind of thing.
I'm predicting it to be absolute shit. Actually, like it just in terms of its power, so like pure power. I think it's just going to be, as you said, a taxi. It's just going to be a fast travel. That's it, I think, really.
I think that people are thinking this thing is going to be more impactful than it could possibly be, because I just know it's going to take one ballista shot and you're off your mount, or something ridiculous. You're going to run through poison, something like that from a trebuchet. You're going to be knocked off. I can't see Zergs just jumping in on their mounts without buffing that might, getting that Aegis, getting that protection built up, because you're just going to be flat-footed once you get off that mount. There's nothing that's going to keep you up. I don't see this mount breaking into towers unless it's a bug. I don't see this mount just ripping down gates. I see it as just like, that's what it's going to be, a taxi to get to the battle, get to the tower, to get to wherever.
And if that is the case, that's that's a mostly positive change. Like, the only downside of that is a similar one with gliding. Okay, so gliding made defending a lot easier. And mounts may do the same, right? Okay, that might be the same. So there will be a slight downside to that, but I think getting people moving around the map faster is a good thing, particularly if you want to keep newer players in it, to keep them engaged. Like running around is not. It's not everyone's cup of tea, right? So having that move in there as well. One thing I do hope is a bit overpowered, right? And okay, okay. We know that it's going to have the ability to attack gates in some way with its little rope attack. Okay, that it can throw out. Now, in my opinion, the dream would be that this is actually really strong. I think this should be, if this is really good and it can kind of loosen up tier 3 structures a bit quicker than they are now, I actually think that will be a good thing for the game. Because right now, what happens is, on most servers, it gets upgraded to tier 3, and no one wants anything to do with it. Okay, and you just wait till the night crew resets it for you, right? Yeah. That's kind of how it goes right now. So anything that would alleviate this problem and make sieging faster and less annoying to do, I think will be a good thing. Whether that will actually happen, that kind of remains to be seen. But there you go. That's certainly
it's got to be on
the balance of it. Yeah,
it's got to be push and pull for that. Like you got to have when you make it easier to defend for people to get into the tower, you also have to alleviate it in another way. Let people have or let the attacking force actually have a bit more oomph. But it doesn't have to be much. Like I personally think the wall claw is mostly going to be just a havoc kind of thing. It's going to be limited in some capacity. You're only going to be able to use it for a brief period of time. You throw the spear on and you get a few pulls and then you get knocked off it or whatnot. Then you run out of combat. It's just going to be a little bit more, oomph to it. It's just going to make it that slight bit faster. But I don't think it's going to actually, change much.
I think it's going to be like the Flame Ram when you use the burn skill to stack up the extra damage. And I wonder if it's going to be something like that, except it's going to be its own debuff to the gate. And you'll do some damage, but you'll still need the ram type thing. But it'll be much faster if you have a bunch of mounts jerking on the gate. And that'll make it faster, but it won't be overpowered in the sense that you're just going to come up and just PVD.
Yeah.
No.
And the one thing that is certainly worth noting as well is that, say if you're being fired on by arrow carts, right, that you're going to get thrown off the mount pretty bloody quickly. I mean, stuff like how much HP does the Raptor have? Like 5k health, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, something like that. Like
The highest health pool we have is like 9k. I think it's the bunny or something.
Actually, wait, you might know this, Droid. Does it set your toughness to 1000 when you're on it?
Yeah, it's baseline.
Oof.
All your stats are baseline, so you can't just toughen us up and fix your way out of that. Everyone's gonna get hit off just as easily as the next person.
Yeah. So if you're on the mount, guys, you get, even if you're on Minstrel Guard or whatever, right? You get set all the way back to 1k toughness. So you will get annihilated. Okay, you will get destroyed on this mount. So if the enemy has siege set up, or they have players in the tower or the keep, your mount will be worthless. Okay, you will be removed from the mount very quickly. You will be destroyed. Okay, and yeah, and as I say, the only like big, I can certainly see this being a bit of an interesting. It depends how fast it is. Again, we don't know how fast the mount is. Like, if the mount is like a bit faster than swiftness, I think that's fine. But if it's like really fast, then I can certainly see some of the defense issues being extra spicy, because like already on some of the towers at spawn, right, you could actually glide into them.
On that particular topic, someone on my Discord leaked something from another Discord. I don't know if it's actually a leak, so to speak, but it was I don't know if I should say the name. It was one of the devs. Let's just keep it there. I'm not gonna expose anyone. No exposing happening here. It was one of the devs, one of the ANA devs that said on an ANA Discord or something like that. I don't know where it is. I feel like it's a World vs. World Discord, and someone was pestering the devs, and they kind of just said, anyways, what was said was I was trying to find it. Well, I can't find it. Never mind. It's the mount will apparently move faster in your own territory and slower in enemy territory. So likely, what I foresee is like it'll move just slightly above swiftness or something like that in enemy territory, and then in your own territory it might be just like fucking chugging along.
Well, I think
flying.
I think it'll be close to on par with the Desert Borderlands 40% buff from the shrines.
It might be just that,
but you don't have a timer on it. You just use it when you're out of combat. So I think the mounts might still be slightly faster than that, because I think 40% just pushes you. I don't remember, but I fit like to 50 mounts running across your own territory to defend something. That will be a sight to see. If we ever get to that point. Again, I don't know if everybody's going to get the mounts. And I think people are so scared
it might be
left
hard
behind.
To get. Sure.
I'm going to lay this down. My prediction is the mount is an absolute joke to get, because they want everyone to get it.
Probably.
Well, mount skins.
I wonder, though, how interactive it'll be with actually playing World vs. World. Like, is it just go and use your mastery points or mastery rank up points, you know what I mean, the World vs. World rank up points, or will there actually be some feature or some things that you have to do?
Well,
like
there was a tweet from an ArenaNet developer talking about writing a narrative for the mount. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So that strongly implies there's some kind of like a reward track or a quest.
But I mean, that could be an NPC. They could be an NPC just like standing around talking about this, because like all of a sudden a mount appears in the mist. Like, I guess they feel like they have to have an explanation.
Look what I found.
It might just be, yeah, exactly. Look what I found. This is how you get it. And then it explains. Like, it could be just that. It could be as simple as that.
I suppose it doesn't necessarily mean there is, any broader context to it, but I mean, if we look at the other mount where we had to kind of do a bit of work for, the Griffin. The Griffin had this long, epic collection for it, right?
Yeah.
Spanning all the maps, etc., etc., etc. I can certainly see something similar, right? You know,
But
maybe
that was like super high end. The Beetle struck a much
yeah, that was
better
good too.
point for a lot of people. A lot more people were happy with the Beetle because the Beetle was it was very condensed. It wasn't that far reaching. It was just, yeah, it was pretty simplistic. I foresee like a step below that. So like let's say Griffin is tier 4.
Okay.
We've got the Beetle at tier 3, and we've got all the other mounts at tier 1, which is just instant do a heart and you get it, right? I think tier 2 is going to be where the tier 2 of acquisition is where the wall claw is going to be.
I fucking love I love the idea. I honestly think that they're going to do the thing that is going to like meme on people the hardest, right? You're going to have to like kill the grub in EB, dude. Okay, you're going to have to kill the grub.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna have to kill. Seriously, you have to kill.
You're gonna
all
have
the
to
little
get into
creatures.
EBG to begin with.
There's so many creatures, right? In World vs. World, there's like in EB. There's like the tree as well, the tree spirit, the grub. There's like the worm on Alpine. There's the warg as well, and the harpy. You have to kill them all. You get to hunt them all down.
I know. This doesn't really. I mean. It doesn't really mean anything. I think a lot of people I know obviously it's just a mountain. Whoever gives a fuck, right? But I think a lot of people will actually be disappointed if they have to do PvE, so to speak, kill a grub to get the World versus World mount. Like, how ironic would that actually be? Instead of like kill 50 players or no, it's kill the grub.
Kill the grub. Yeah, that's what
Imagine that.
You're gonna have to do it, dude. I'm just gonna say, I reckon you might need to take that grub down. You know the grub is gonna be the target. Okay.
The champion Oakheart. What else is on that map? The crate. Could they use the crate in there?
Yeah.
The Hylic and the. You're actually gonna have to like take those. That would be.
Oh no.
What?
Yeah, all the PvE events. You know the ally area.
The centaur one as well.
The ogres. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
you
gotta take those.
Go get this thing inside.
It's gonna be interesting though, because let's assume just for a second that it actually has something to do with some of those PvE areas or whatnot. Initially, when the mount comes out, there's gonna be surges of people there, like trying to do this thing. We're gonna have the most epic battles around the PvE content. Imagine that.
Just make sure you tag.
It's gonna suck ass though, but because people are just gonna grief it and like camp around somewhere. To get new people who are just looking for the mount. But like initially, it's gonna be hilarious.
It's gonna be a PvE Zerg coming up to kill the grub, and here comes this World versus World madhouse, and then here comes the third group who already has half the mounts because they've been farming it all day and they actually got their stuff done, and then it's just gonna be crazy, and everybody's gonna be like, World versus World sucks, and I'm gonna be like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This slideshow right here, it's gonna be amazing.
Next slide.
It's gonna bring out some weirdness in all of us. It's gonna destabilize the game, right? Because you're gonna have a lot of players who want to do different things.
Oh yeah,
in the map, right? And I think it's gonna be funny.
We should just embrace that. Right? We really should just embrace that. I feel like a World vs. World is like they refuse in a lot of scenarios when PvEers or like outside forces are introduced into the game mode. They get a very protective of their game mode. I feel like we should just embrace it. Like for a week, who gives a fuck, right? Just have some fun, have some banter, attack some weird unsuspecting PvEers. Like just have some fun with it.
That is a very interesting thing. Okay, but I really think you cannot criticize the World vs. World community. I mean, yeah, they are a bit, I will use the word cancerous. I mean, yeah, that is certainly true. Okay, but can you imagine? All right, just hear me out here. Hear me out. Can you imagine the shit show if the next Living Story map was open world PvP?
It would be amazing. It's all I want.
You imagine like the Reddit threads, the forum posts.
Yeah,
but of course people will be mad about that.
But at this point, I don't really give a shit what people think, because apparently, like, we don't really know what we want, and it's not really all that we really want is not really apparently pushing the game forward. Living Story has just died. I mean, why do you think we're here? I mean, Jesus Christ.
I mean, you're right.
If PvEers are going to argue for the Living World model being the successive way to go forward, fuck you. No, apparently it's not. Apparently it is not.
Okay.
So let's try something new. Let's just have some fun with it. All right. I genuinely can't be fucked
Wow.
anymore to worry about what other people might think about something cool coming to the game. Can we not just stamper progression and at least have some fun with this fucking game?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
I would actually be inclined to certainly agree with. What I see behind that sentiment is that I think the community react. I think almost like ArenaNet is too scared of the community, right? Like ArenaNet needs to like go out and do stuff, right? And that's why I can kind of get behind this this mount stuff, right? It's like, you know, it's not something that I've ever wanted. I don't really particularly like mounts. I think it could potentially be a bit bad, but you know. Props to ArenaNet for actually doing something at least, right? And I think they should be. I think they should be bold in all areas of the game, right? I think we have been on the same narrow path for far too long now, right? In all areas of the game, like I would say, in terms of the PvPers, we're talking about balance, right? I think the balance it's been the same for too long. Open world PvE, I think the maps are too samey. We need something new. We need something fresh. Give the players a challenge. Make them work for something a little bit, okay? In World versus World, I think the same thing is true. Like the gameplay is just the same since bloody Path of Fire launched, right? Like we need something fresh. We need some meaning, some oomph, right? Just do something, get it done, right? And I think alliances are that kind of freight train that might kind of shake things up a lot, hopefully, at least temporarily. But yeah, again, in terms of raids, it's the balance is just the same. Let's have some proper challenge raids. Let's have some hard content in raids. You know, let's really get something crazy. You know what I mean? Let's get something intense.
Instabilities.
Yeah. No.
Wait, what did you say?
Raid instabilities.
Slippery slope, all raids.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Each raid wing gets their own thing.
It's gonna happen.
No, that would not be good. No, I really think
you just said shake it up. You can't world versus world it now. You can't be like, oh, change, don't want it.
I don't
no,
want
now you
slippery
get it. Let's pop the bubble. ANET just start just doing whatever, just whatever the devs want. Each week they just spin the wheel and they're like, "What's it land on this week? Oh, PvP. Nobody can jump. You can't jump in PvP. Let's do it." And then just boom, that's that week for PvP.
Oh my god! Well, no, I think you know that I'm not just talking about like gameplay variations. I just think we need different styles of content, right? You know, I think
that is different style, is it not?
Not really a different style, and it's the same way of arguing that fractals are different just because of new instabilities. People have time and time again proved that. Well, it doesn't really matter. People don't really care about the minor fluctuations. People want something completely different. And a new fractal with slippery slope does not feel like, or an old fractal with slippery slope does not feel like a new fractal. It just feels shit. All right, like it's not necessarily what we want. We want something that's new, that's fresh, that changes up the gameplay and not just changes up a minor factor from it. Like, correct me if I'm wrong here, but nobody likes slippery slope.
You guys remember in World versus World when you had to go to the Quaggan Island in the middle? This is way back. And you had to free the Quaggans to get the storm, and the storm and stuff would hit you. Yep. Like it would strike your opponents and stuff. Why don't they do something like that? Big event. You go, you have to claim this thing, or you're going to be at a detriment on the entire map.
I definitely think stuff like that can be a big deal, but I think it should be around player conflict, right? It should not involve killing mobs or anything like that. It should be very much player oriented, right? It should almost be like a temporary. What I would like to see is something like this, like a temporary tower would form in the middle or something, right? And then whoever captures that tower gets this bonus. I think now we're talking, right? Like almost like an extension of the ruin system in a way.
They tried to do that with the Desert Borderland though, and had to disable the event in the middle because people didn't like the temporary event that popped up and you had to get it.
I think it's because it lagged the entire map though really hard.
Mm-hmm. Mechanics problems.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever really did that event because it was disabled before I even really got back into World vs. World. Yeah. So I don't really know much.
I think it wouldn't be resisted if it didn't like hard lag the map. But that was the problem. I think it was also like it had loads of dinosaurs and stuff. It had a lot of monsters to fight as well. And again, I think it should be purely player defined. I think World versus World is very much a sandbox, and I think that the way to fix World versus World is to put more sand in the sandbox, right? Rather than try and make AI sand monsters that fight you, it should be give the sand to the players, let the players use the sand, right? Sand for the sandbox is balance and meaningful gameplay, right? Like a reason to do something, like winningness, making winning matter. Okay, and I think
but they kind of to play devil's advocate, they kind of tried that with the Desert Borderland and had to go back on that as well. Remember that whole speech about if you own certain areas, you will have more maneuverability because the map will, or owning certain keeps or object towers or whatnot will lock off other areas.
Yep.
People really didn't like that at all in any way, shape, or form, and they had to roll that back. Some of the walls are gone right now, if I recall correctly.
That's because the reason there is because Desert Borderland is not a good map for fighting on. There's a lot of problems with that map, not limited to like the rock walls and the tornadoes and stuff that would be spawning, right? Like the reason we didn't like it is because it's very difficult to actually fight on that map. It's all very narrow. It's long run distances. Like the lords are horrible, by the way.
Did you say long distances?
Yeah.
What?
Like a mount could fix that?
Like a mount might be able to fix that?
Dude,
wow.
No, the mount will not make people play on desert. What?
I mean,
spit my tea out.
if the biggest complaint is that the maneuverability,
I think
what about a maneuverability machine?
The biggest problem with that, the biggest complaint about that is it's not fun to fight on. Honestly, like it's just not. Attacking the keeps is even more annoying than on Alpine, and it's not good for fighting on, right? Like, and the majority of players who play World versus World play it to fight with other players, right? And with good reason. I think that's actually the best part of it. I think the best part of it is actually the fighting. Okay, but no, and because you can't really fight very effectively on desert, no one plays on desert. There you go. That is what it is.
Yeah, I personally I go to desert
every Friday night.
I go to desert personally for the. Oh, is that why? I go there for the roaming because it's a bit more interesting in the maneuverability options there, jumping up and down the different levels and whatnot. But I go to the Alpine and EBG for Cirque play. So I get it.
Yeah, I find commanding an Alpine and fighting an Alpine easier than Red Borderlands, but I find Havoc running around doing the little things much easier in the Red Borderlands. So, like, especially, I don't know, I just can't get on a server. I'm on Isle of Janthera, so I keep getting linked with bigger servers, and the bigger servers on Red BL, I still don't think those commanders know how to play it. And I don't think any commander truly knows how to play it. That's why they just try to K-train kill the blobs. And that's okay, but it's not a very good map for that either compared to the Alpine or even EBG, where you probably have better success as commander. I don't know. I like Red BL. I still don't know how to navigate it very well, but at the same time, I don't think it's a great map for Zerging. If it was just an open world PvP, gank each other type map and only certain players are on it and you have to find each other, I think that'd be a little more interesting. Pull the keeps out, things like that. It could have been almost like a 20-on-20 PvP map. And if it was just on a smaller scale, I think it would be more fun. But I don't know. I'm glad they brought Alpine back, because when they didn't have Alpine, it took forever to get into combat, and World versus World didn't need to be slowed down. It needed to be sped up, and I think the mount's going to do that for sure. It's gonna get those battles faster.
It will get the battles faster. That is certainly true. One way or another, that having the mounts will allow you to get back into the action faster, regardless of anything else. Right, you'll be able to get there. You'll be on that mount, going crazy. Be a little bit faster, so there will be higher action uptime. I mean, yeah, that's one way to do it. But I mean, again, it just seems a little bit of an interesting thing to do here. Like, why add this to the game to fix that problem when you could just fix the problem? And I don't know.
Can you just fix the problem?
Well,
Yeah, okay, so I don't
remove Red BL, dude. That's how you fix the problem.
Wow.
I mean,
I don't think much will actually happen to like World versus World in general. I was about to say the game mode or any of the maps, but like until the alliance systems comes in, like nothing really of value. All of the things that people are screaming and shouting for, I don't think any of that will get touched until the alliance system, because we're talking about core issues here, and what they're touching on with the alliance system is a core features of the entire game mode. I just don't see any of all that getting fixed until the alliance system. So anything that comes before that is just, I don't know, minuscule things that don't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but that we shouldn't necessarily piss on, because likely the rest of all these issues might get touched on in some capacity when the alliance system comes out. We should just be more excited for the alliance system, but until then, winning doesn't matter anyways.
And the alliance system
I mean,
is at the whim of all the other systems too, right? Because, I mean, you're talking about the guild panel, you're talking about all that stuff, which is going to affect the other game modes. I mean, and I think that's probably why we haven't seen much progress. If they're still changing and trying to find the right thing, I mean, we can never see alliances if they can't get together and be like, okay, here is the core system. We're not changing it. Now, other game modes, how can we use the core system? And if they didn't have that done when they announced alliances, they should have never announced alliances and just let World versus World fall into obscurity even further. Because I think it just gave false hope. I think it gave false insecurity. And now all these World versus Worlders are like, where's my big update? Where's the balance and stuff? And here's the World versus World team. They're out eating tacos going, hey, I want to get this done, but I'm waiting for the core stuff for PvE to be done so I can get my stuff done. And if that's the case, we're never going to see alliances. We're going to see Guild Wars 3 before Guild Wars freaking Alliance World versus... No, it's going to be Guild Wars 3. It's going to be Guild Wars 3, World versus World versus World. We finally got the alliance system done. Please buy our game. That's what it's going to be if they can't get this core stuff down and release something that's meaningful. Or how about you get your balanced team together with the actual people who make the calls and just completely rebalance the game, and there's our season 5. Because at this point, like, as a World versus Worlder, I want to go back in and just enjoy it. I want to be upset that the other team is beating me, not upset that these mechanics just can't be overcome when there's 4 Scourges versus my 1. Like, it just doesn't make sense to just get rolled over every single time because people are playing 4 classes when there's 9. It just doesn't make sense. So, yeah, I feel the same frustration, but I'm trying to be really patient, and I am being patient, but when I see people not being patient, I don't think it's going to help the problem anyways, because the problem may just be out of the reach of everyone. My rant's done. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's a good rant.
No, it is a good rant, and I do think that the announcement of alliances quite early on has... I mean, it was well-meaning by Arena. I think what they were trying to do is have a little more transparency with the community, and I think that's a good thing, right? And it should be applauded. But the fact that it's taken this long to get done is obviously causing a lot of stress and perhaps a little bit of angst within the community. But to be honest, it's the same in all the other game modes. For example, when automated tournaments of PvP came out, right, it was announced pretty early on after that they were going to be changing the finals to best of 3s, right, and moving over to a Swiss tournament format instead of the current just straight elimination rounds, right? And well, I mean, that hasn't happened yet. So again, it's not what I'm trying to say to the World versus World boys is, okay, it's not just you. Okay, a raid wing. We had 1 raid wing in 2018, right? Look, don't worry, World vs. World guys. It ain't just you, right? Like, everyone's getting screwed right now. So but yeah, I agree.
Except a living story, people.
Yeah.
But they're bored too. Like, yeah,
obviously,
new content. I mean, as a vet player, I played World versus World. Sort of fell into PvP and then fell into PvE, but I still did World versus World and PvP when appropriate, right? But like when you lose those game modes, when you lose interest in those game modes, and then you just have PvE, yeah, there's a lot of content. Open world, yeah, I don't do raids, blah blah blah. But now the living story's like, oh, great story, but it's not giving me something I want to do. But if World versus World was there, or PvP was more populated, then yeah, I would be playing those again, because there's going to be a variance. There's going to be something to do, and I'll feel like I'm contributing to something else in general, versus just waiting, 3 months, new story, let's play 2 hours single player content. I mean, like, okay, but it's just getting boring that way too. So ANET needs something here. They need something, is what I'm going to say, because yeah, amount, it's ready, they're sending it out, but when are we going to see balance? Is that something you can tell us? But if we have to wait for alliances, then you got to jump on that too, because we need this game mode to keep interest in the game, because it's just going to bleed into other places. Just like PvE bleeds into the other two, PvP will eventually bleed into World versus World, or bleed into PvE, and it makes the game feel fuller, and it gives us different types of players and things that we may be missing out on. There may be players that have quit that can provide greater things to the game, but now they're gone because they're just not here, because World versus World isn't changing. And
all three aspects of replayable content has been abandoned.
Well, look,
I mean,
the approach to balance at Arena is fundamentally wrong. Okay, I'm just gonna say it, guys. Like tweaking something by like 10%, 15% is not gonna change. Like the fact that stuff like Scourge is just like fundamentally disgusting in World versus World. Okay, that's there. I said it, guys. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, look. It went really. Things went really badly after World vs. World because Scourge enables really, really annoying gameplay, right? Like Power Rev, for example, didn't really see that much play in Heart of Thorns, right? Because the melee, it was full melee back then. You just charge at each other and smash into each other, okay? Right? But when they added Scourge, suddenly, like if you just charging at the opponent, they did intend. This was kind of intentional, right? They wanted to stop like the full smush, right? They wanted to stop people just like charging at each other and just like and then someone wins, right? Okay. They wanted to stop that a little bit with Scourge. But the thing is, they went way too far and now made it so that if you charge at your opponent, you get absolutely annihilated, right? And like everyone can just launch a thermonuclear weapon at you from 900 range away, right? So, and the thing is, like that just needs to fundamentally be changed. It's unhealthy inherently for World versus World. It used to be the case in PvP. They gave it enough of a spank in PvP that it's not that much of a big deal anymore. But obviously it's still very strong. Don't get me wrong, it's still very strong. But again, it's difference between it's this trade-off between balance and design, right? It's the same thing with Mirage in PvP, right? Like Mirage is just inherently unfun design in PvP. Like being able to dodge while CC'd, while stomping, while reviving, being able to attack while dodging, okay, is just it just like memes on you so hard. Like it just destroys you. Like it's not good for PvP. Like it's not fun to play against, right? It's just not fun. And that the important thing is I think fun needs to be taken into consideration for a start. And I think the current World versus World meta is a bit annoying, okay, and not that much fun. And the best way to do that is with big balances. You're not going to fix this with like a 2% buff to Necro Axe or like a 7% buff to Shatterstone. You need big design changes. Otherwise, it won't change. Like stuff will not change. And to be honest, I think our only hope is that we get some new elite specializations, right? In maybe the living story that will change the design of the game, right? So yeah, that's what we need.
Are you hoping for that? Like at this point, like realistically, just like season 5 with elite specializations, are you actually expecting that? Yeah,
I am expecting elite specs for season 5. Yeah,
that's a big expectation.
Yeah,
that's
what do you
mean?
I wasn't before, and I am definitely not now.
I mean, even I have been sort of hyping myself like ANET's doing things, but going from season 4 into season 5, without an expansion, something big to shake things up. I just don't know if I don't see. So episode 6 is gonna come out because I don't even know if we're gonna get an episode 6 at this point. But if there is an episode 6, they better tell us what's going to be the future of this game, because when season 5 comes out, if it's just more cookie cutter stuff, they're not going to start shaking things up a little bit. We're just going to log in every 3 months for what?
I mean,
maybe a week.
I kind of hesitate to talk about the season 5 then, because it kind of goes into the grand future of the game.
I'm so sorry.
Do you guys want to go there?
Can touch it a little bit. Okay, just a smidge.
We'll touch a smidge on it, because like season 5 genuinely confuses me at this point. Or the future of it. Because of everything that's happened right now, obviously. With the layoffs and whatnot, for anyone who's out of the loop in chat, there stuff is happening. We don't know anything about season 5, but seemingly from all that we know, likely that was going to be the end of it. That was going to be the end of Guild Wars 2, likely. And if that was the plan all along, most likely what we'll see now that they're back on track for GW2, most likely what we'll see if the game continues, is that most of season 5 is going to be exactly that cookie cutter nonsense that we've seen all along. Because it's not necessarily going to push the boundaries. It's going to be a lot of the same. What we might hope for is that all the episodes that haven't been made just yet, but some of them have, because we know that that's how the Living Story teams work right now. They work in shifts. So for months now, some of the teams will have been working on episode 1 and 2 of season 5. Those 2 episodes will definitely have the same feeling as what they were expecting beforehand. I guarantee you. The question is what comes after that, and for that we don't know. Like, no one knows. But if we actually want, I'm not saying this as a negative thing necessarily, but that's the reality as I see it. I'm not saying that it is the reality, but if that's anywhere near the truth, we kind of need to give season 5 a long chance. Bear with me, right? We kind of need to give it at least all the way through the season before we can actually see the impact of what is happening right now. I mean, well, because nothing is going to change up till then.
Surely,
I just don't see it.
They were planning to switch something up because they know that they got to do something better than this, right?
But apparently that other thing was Project 2 and 3 or whatever it was. Like, that's what I'm getting, right? Apparently that next thing wasn't Guild Wars 2. Like, the shakeup that they wanted wasn't necessarily Guild Wars 2. And it's all rumors, by the way. It's all completely rumors. We've only heard it from unreliable sources, because we have no official statement. I'm just saying, like, apparently.
Yeah, even I sort of felt like maybe there was going to be a surprise expansion between season 4 and season 5, because I'm thinking, a lot of studios out there, they only have about, 100 to 200 employees, and we're talking about the bigger ones like ESO, Final Fantasy 14, things like that. They don't have such a big resource thing, and I was hoping, and seeing some of the balance changes, like they're making classes pretty different to sort of tone them down. That's what they did for HOT and Path of Fire. They started to tone back the elite specs and things we had now, and they've been doing that. But now, like, we hear about these layoffs, and then now I'm like, and then they definitely have tripled down, saying yes, we're moving from season 4 into season 5, and I'm just like, then what have you been doing? Like, So that pretty much kills my surprise expansion hopes that, that's how they were going to build hype. Much like when they released Path of Fire very quickly at us, like 2 months, less than 2 months. Here you go. Here's the next expansion. I thought they were going to do something like that again. But again, that's just my own fault for getting overhyped. And now it's just an uneasy feeling like, oh man, what's the future of this game?
Well, I mean, season 4 is the to kind of counter that. Season 4 is the one in between the quote unquote expansions, right? Like the way it went is like Heart of Thorns, Living Story, Path of Fire, Living Story, something, right? So what the question is, what is the something, right? Like surely it is entirely possible that there are going to be expansion level features coming in season 5. This is something that Arena have talked about, right? Is creating expansion level content delivered in their episodic fashion. And I do think that's what they want to do, and that's why I think there's going to be elite specs. I think there'll be elite specs. Maybe two or three packaged.
Left. That's kind of the only thing that we have left that hasn't been introduced in other places. Like it's the elite specializations.
Yeah,
I think everything else from the prior expansions has been introduced in Living Story maps, and I think we are just likely to see more of that. Well, I think Brazil might be right. Right.
I mean, that's what. No, Brazil says we're gonna get 3 new classes, dude. Okay, come on, man.
Okay, yeah, he's completely off.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but I don't know. I think we don't need to be overly pessimistic, guys. It's not gonna be that bad. I do still think there will be some of the good stuff. Like we're gonna get some new elite specs. I think it'll be a really good way to actually draw people to the game. Because I think one thing that Arena is perhaps struggling right now is actually having a pull, right? Like if there's like why play Guild Wars 2, right? If someone told you to sell them Guild Wars 2, like, I think what a lot of people would say is that basically it's just like a more casual version of other games. You know what I mean? But that seriously though, like when your selling point is that we're more casual than the other guy, that's not good, right? I don't know, that's not quite right. Like the living world is not that living anymore, and I think that is a shame. It's more like episodes of a single player game at this point, that's fine. I'm not opposed to that, but no, I think at big revamps, like alliances, like World vs. World is back. Okay, that's a nice revamp. Okay, new classes in the game. I think, boom, let's go. Let's bring them back. Like advertise that combat system. Make that spice. Okay, make some spicy gameplay for Guild Wars 2 and get people excited for the game again. I think that's what needs to happen if they want to kind of make a bit of a comeback. Okay, it really depends what the plan was, right? Because as you say, because of recent events, right? The plan may have been maintenance mode. Get those gem store fucking skins. Get that cash. Boom. Next IP. Next game. That might have been actually been the plan. Okay, like we don't know this, guys. Like again, this is speculation. I don't really want to get into it too much. But that may have actually been the point. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Joey, go ahead.
If that was the case, if they were funneling money from money and devs from GW2 to another thing, and that other thing is being canceled, has been canceled. We're starting from scratch right now. They have 15 to 20 months to build an expansion, to build the hype. That's the reality. And is that going to happen? I don't know. It might take much longer if they actually go for that. If they actually go for the expansion and whatnot. But holy shit, they've got a lot of catching up to do. I feel like, okay, so before all of this happened, I felt like we needed more action. Like they needed to show us that they cared. They intended the best for Guild Wars 2. They actually were putting efforts into it. And I'm still looking for that. I'm still looking for a sign of passion. I'm still looking for a sign that there's actually a potential for the elite specializations to come in at this point. Because like during season 5 even, or later. In that case, I'm just looking for I'm looking for a sign from ArenaNet.
That isn't just a planned announcement. It's solid.
I just want them to say something. I want them to say something in those lines, along those lines.
To be honest, I wholeheartedly agree with that, and I really want to underline it and and you know, highlight it with like really flashy paint. Okay, seriously, like if anything is important right now, especially now, guys, there's a lot of unease and some very, very sad things going on right now, guys. Okay, like, you know, there you know, with some staffing issues, right? Like, you know, I won't get into it too much, but it's very sad. It really feels bad, man. Okay, this is not a good time for ArenaNet and Guild Wars 2. Okay, what is so important right now is that after this has calmed down a little bit, okay, we need. If there's ever been a time to communicate, ArenaNet, it's now. Okay,
not now,
right?
not
Not
necessarily
now.
right now.
Yeah.
Take care of the human aspect.
Yeah.
Take care of your employees. Those are priority number one.
Yeah.
But if you want this flourish, after you've sorted that out, you need to speak with us.
Yes.
You need to talk with us. You need to talk with your community, because you haven't talked with your community in 2 years. Now is not the time to be silent. Now is not the time to continue that horrible attitude.
And it can't be just like a little message on the forums. It has to be you got to give us something, because when there's nothing to hold on to, people just let go completely. And I think that's where we're at. And now, and then of course, you know, with this layoff thing, just to touch on it, you know, that also creates huge unease in the gaming community that my game may be gone. And they said, well, that's not going to happen, but it still makes people stop spending money. They stop playing the game and stuff because they're scared that it's meaningless. It's not going to mean anything. I'm going to waste money. But you know, if it's true and they can confirm that yes, Guild Wars 2 is here to stay and that kind of stuff, then I highly suggest, if you were going to spend gems, to do it, because that's what keeps the game alive. And so, but at the same time, like, we need something. But of course, you know, I'm waiting. I'm in wait mode. I want them to get all this situation done before they do anything, because I don't want them to come at us with like that depressed, almost, you know, deflated ego type thing. Because then they're going to be very vague. I want them to feel confident and be ready to move forward with whatever they're doing before they do that.
Absolutely.
Whatever that is, just tell us. Yeah.
But I would really, I mean, this is something that we've been asking for a very long time, but I think certainly now it is, especially with this interesting transition between season 4 and 5. Now, I am predicting that we'll see something, okay, at the end of episode 6. It's going to be like, aha, this is what's going to happen. Because if you recall, at the end of the HOT Living story, right, it kind of teased Path of Fire, right? If that makes sense. You know, there was like, aha, you know, ooh, yeah, okay. And I'm really hoping we get something like that, but in a big way, okay? Like at the end of episode 6, I really want to have a bit of an idea of what's going to happen in the future for Guild Wars 2, okay? Is there going to be, is the plan now an expansion? I don't know. Are there going to be elite specializations introduced?
But
right?
I don't think they're going to, like, the episode is coming out in like a month, give or take, right? 1 or 2 months. Yep. That's I guess the schedule as we've come to know it. I don't think they'll know if an expansion is even a viable option in 1 or 2 months. It's going to take a lot of experimentation to begin with to even see where they want to push that. If they haven't touched anything, like if there was no expansion to begin with, like right now in the works, they've got a lot of prep work to deal with before they can even say anything. But I just kind of want to know what they're working on. I mean, whatever it is.
Can you just drop a big, not subtle hint? Something.
Yeah. Absolutely, and honestly, I think engaging with the community can be quite helpful as well, right? I think a lot of the communities do kind of know what they want. I think World vs. World is like maybe the exception, because there's a lot of different play styles. Of course, it is the sandbox, but like I think, you know, if you go on the PvP forums, you're gonna go ahead and read down. You're gonna see Mirage, maybe a bit more Mirage, okay, needs to be toned down, okay? With raids, it's pretty obvious what people want. They just want more of it, okay? More, give us that content, guys, you know? And, well, maybe easy mode and hard mode are certainly some things to talk about as well, right? Like, in terms of, you know, it's obvious what people want, okay? And I really hope that, I really hope that it does get listened to, and the community's concerns are addressed. Okay, because I do think that to a certain extent you do have to listen to the people who are actually already playing the game. Okay, the veterans are going to be the one that sustain it. Okay, like yes, it's true that Guild Wars 2 is a casual game, but who is leading your Zerg in World versus World? It's a grizzled fucking veteran. Okay, who's playing the ATs in PvP? Like who's going for rank 1, inspiring the new players with their dank, their insane thief montages. Okay, right? It's the veteran players. Like who's doing the cool speed runs? It's the veteran players, right? Like those things that generate excitement around the game, create community events. It is the veterans. Who's making the builds? Good point, chat. Who's making the builds? Who's helping the new players? It is the veterans, and they are important as well, guys. And I'm just going to flat out say I do believe that actually ArenaNet has completely forgotten those players in a pretty big way. Actually, I think they are being neglected in a sad way, and it is causing people to fall away from the game. Okay, veterans are important, casuals are important, everyone is important, guys. Okay, look, I want everyone to have their cake. Okay, and you can eat it as well. So there you have it. Okay, all of it. Everyone gets everything. I think it's important it is important to actually address the concerns of the whole community, the community as a whole, right? And not just focus on one, because that is kind of where madness lies. And I think it ends up with a fractured and divided house, right? Against itself. And we know that's no good, right? So I don't know. There's my rant over, I guess. There you go. Boom. But it's maybe we are doomsaying a little bit. Like, of course, I don't think it's actually that bad. Like, I genuinely think the game will tick along like for at least another 2 years. Okay, simple as that, guys. It's
I mean, development will happen for at a bare minimum for the next 15 to 20 months easily. That's just development for it and actual releases. Beyond that, the game will continue. Like even without releases, the game will live on for like long into the future. I'm predicting the server still being live in like easily 10 years plus, regardless of whatever they decide to do right now, in terms of the layoffs and management and whatnot. Like I'm not seeing this game going away. The question is, which state will it be in by that time? By the time that it goes into maintenance mode, as people throw around, the game is not gonna die. The game is not gonna be shut off. It's just not happening.
I do have to say, I do want to say one thing though. I think ArenaNet have actually backed themselves into a corner by making the game as too many trivial and easy things in the game. Like the kind of play. I saw a comment about this earlier. I didn't get to address it, but now is the time. Okay. And this is true in a lot of games. There's a pretty epic rant video about World of Warcraft about this actually. It was called like World of Warcraft is garbage.
I was meaning to watch that. Someone.
So I'd actually seen it before that guy pinged me, but that reminded me of it, and oh boy, does that tell you about modern gaming in a nutshell, dude. Like the company has effectively, in my opinion, like gaming in general has changed to the players, okay, but too much. I think adapting to the players is fine. Like I think accessibility is a good thing, 100%, okay. But too much accessibility dilutes the game and results in it just being dross, okay? And I think that's what's kind of happened with a lot of the content right now. I think challenging players in Guild Wars 2 is now almost like a taboo, okay? You just don't do it. Like, you don't do it. Just give them the shinies. Honestly, instead of ArenaNet being like the fearsome boss that's guarding the shinies, like, yeah, you think you can get these shinies? Come and get these shinies, okay? I feel like they're like, please, take the shinies. It's okay. It's gone the other way around. The company, the game should be holding the shinies hostage, right? The players should not be holding the company hostage. Like that, it's gone horribly, horribly wrong, okay? And that, it's entitlement. I think your average gamer, okay, your average professional gamer is insanely entitled, okay? They say, I bought Guild Wars 2. That means I can get legendary armor, rank 1 in PvP, all raid CMs, I can capture every tower in World vs. World, and while doing it, I can skill kick and play however I want, okay? No, okay? That's not how it works, guys. The game is a series of challenges that you overcome. Seriously, guys. Okay, and look, I hate it when people say like, "Oh, this sounds like a job." Okay, guys, People say this all the time. Like, all the fucking time. I see comments. I see threads. I see people in
I
my
hate
chat going,
hate it.
I don't want to play Guild Wars 2 like a job, okay? I'm sorry, guys, okay? If you have to play raids 8 hours a day, okay, in order to get the loot out of raids, I have some terrible news for you. You may not have opposable thumbs or fingers, okay? Guys, it's not hard. I mean... And also, how is it a job if it's actually fun? Okay, like seriously.
That's the point. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm so fucking mad, dude. I'm actually, I'm mad. I'm pissed.
Wow.
Right. Seriously, guys.
Wow.
What happened to games being
Rage
fun?
boy.
Okay.
Fun.
What happened to games being fun? I see people talking about this shit all the time. Okay. Like, oh, I just, I want my rewards, man. I want my rewards. What happened? What the fuck happened to games being fun? Look, you play the game to have enjoyment, okay? The enjoyment is overcoming the challenge or getting that shiny, okay? But getting it for free just means it's worthless, okay? Look, guys, okay? This is what I mean, okay? Look, I have got, okay, look at this. Look at this shit. Ah, fuck, okay? Look, I've got loads of medals, okay? Loads of them. Okay, but they're all worthless because they're from like low-level competitions I did. Look at them. Okay, no.
Participation medals all around.
Sorry, guys, but participation trophies are meaningless. Seriously, like completely meaningless. Like there is no reward. Okay, weird flex. There isn't a flex at all. They're like over there, just like in a pile. Okay, where I leave them. Okay, raid world second medals. Exactly, dude. Exactly. Okay. Guys. The game is to engage you. It's to escape from reality, that you can enjoy. Well, you can be an Azura. You can be an Azura warrior. That can be you, okay? You can be doing 30k DPS, okay? That can be you. You can be a guy who can throw water and heal people, okay? That can be you as well, guys, okay? It can be you. You can be a man who goes invisible and stabs someone in the back. That's also you, okay? That's you too, okay? What? And
You can do that in real life as well, I guess.
Okay? You can be an unlikable piece of trash. Yes, you can play the living story and be the player character as well. That's you, okay? So seriously, guys, let go of this fucking bullshit where you have to get every single reward, otherwise it's too hard. No, that is not how things work, okay? Your brain, look, guys, okay? You will feel nothing. You will feel nothing if everything you get in life is free, okay? And in the game. You will get no feeling of gratification, of happiness, okay? The only way is if you actually have to do something, okay? Right? You have to do something, put some work in, get better, learn a skill. Like the process of that is fun. Trust me, guys. Believe me, okay? And not everyone has to be an insane pro gamer, guys, okay? It is all relative, okay? A fantastic example of this is actually StarCraft 2. I always bring this game up, but hey, it's the game I play, so of course I do, right? One of the other games I play anyway, okay? But look, guys, okay? When someone gets promoted, right, from Gold League to Platinum League, they are extremely happy. Okay, right? There are threads of this. They're like, wow, fuck, feels good, man. I got it. I'm so happy. I got that grind. I got my mechanics. Okay, for someone who's in Grandmaster, okay, that is a meaningless achievement. Okay, if they created a new account, okay, and then got promoted from like gold to platinum, no, that is, guys, no, that is meaningless. Okay, but for that player, that is a big deal, okay? It is not everyone has to be like rank 1 GM, okay, to be satisfied, right? You don't have to have that golden badge to find satisfaction. And the same is true in Guild Wars 2, okay? There will be some players who will be super damn satisfied with just getting, into Plat, right? Into Plat 2, Plat, into Plat 3, okay? And that is absolutely fantastic, okay? That is fantastic. I encourage that, and that is something to be praised and should be rewarded, okay? Now, just because those players haven't got to Legend or God of PvP, that does not invalidate their achievement, guys, okay? And I think that's a misunderstanding. I think a lot of players feel that, oh, well, I haven't got Legendary Armor. That invalidates the fact that I've done X, okay? No, that's not how it works, guys. Like that is an achievement, okay? And if you're proud of that, then that's fucking good. You should be feels good, man, about that. In the same way, okay, that when we get the, after 5 years, I craft center. Well, yeah, that's true though, okay? Isn't that fantastic? If you're enjoying that, that's fucking great, okay? But in the same way, okay, that isn't good enough for most players, okay? There has to be a wide variety of achievements that people can go for and target in the game, okay? And you can't just give everything away for free, because that completely alienates anyone who wants to do any level of effort in the game. Like, who wants to invest their time in the game, wants to have investment in their characters, in the journey. Okay, guys? The journey is important. Don't fucking skip the journey. It's honestly like, it's like saying, you know what? I'm going to read this book. Okay, but you know what? I don't want to read the middle part. I just want to see the ending. So you open the book at the end. Okay? You wouldn't do that, would you?
Some fucking people do that. I've heard. Okay. I had a friend who did that.
Yeah. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Do you watch a movie? You know what? You know what? This is bullshit. This is like a job. I have to watch this movie for 3 hours, do I? That's fucked up.
Yeah,
okay?
It's a job.
You know what I'm gonna do? It's a job.
Fucking Avengers Endgame. Like,
dude,
I paid for this.
Yeah.
Just let me see the ending.
Just tell
Who
me
died?
the ending. Just tell me the ending, bro. What's going on here, buddy? I don't want to watch this television. I don't want to watch Game of Thrones, man. That sounds like a job. Okay, I'm gonna skip to the end.
That's why books are better.
Okay.
You can just flip to the end and then and then you put the book back.
That's not what this is, guys. Okay. We need to go back in time. Okay? I genuinely think that the gaming community has been corrupted. Okay? We used to be a glorious community of players having fun, being transported off into virtual worlds. Okay, guys, right? And that what's happened? What the fuck has happened to us? Okay? We're degenerates now, all of us. We're all fucking degenerates.
Hold on.
But Teapot, I will never have God of PvP, so it shouldn't have achievement points tied to it, as even though it's the only actual achievement in the game.
I just want to say,
sorry.
It's not the casuals, as some of you had said in chat. All right, the casuals want this too. Nothing is more disappointing than logging into the game and see someone get something done through login rewards. All right, if you have 22 accounts, you could be the most toxic casual out there and be making eternities every month. All right, so it's not this idea that it's casuals versus elites. No, this is everyone in the game. This affects everyone in every part of the game, whether you're in World versus World, PvP, wherever. They need to make sure there are achievable things, or we're just why we log in? What's the point? If I have to have this, then why am I still playing? Like, that's the point. And what ANET's been doing has made everything's become very trivial, boring. It doesn't add anything. And even casuals, maybe they'll log in, maybe they won't. But seeing vets especially start quitting the game because there's just nothing to do. The challenge is there, then it's gone, because we have gotten better as players, but we haven't done anything with it, and now we're getting sort of rusty. So when ANET does come out with something that challenges, especially the casuals are going to start joining the toxic casuals, saying it's too tough. It's not true. You as a casual aren't any weaker than a raider out there, someone who's elitist, who has this meta build. You too can go out there and get the information you need to be just as good. The question is, do you want to play on that level? And if you don't, you can't complain that they're adding in that content. I don't do raids, but I want more raids, because if there's not raids, where's the elitist going to go? Are they going to come into my content and try to change it? No, thank you. I like sometimes logging in and just running around a map. Okay? I don't want it to suddenly become raid content central. I'm running through the map, and next thing you know, there's a raid boss that's trapped me in, like that legendary defender dude out there in the little starter zones, wherever that guy is. Have you guys ever tried to solo him? You can't. But anyways, I digress. The casuals are not at fault here. We want it just as much as the elitists do, as most of you do. The community wants better content. Challenging content, something that gives us meaning to log in and try something to learn, something to put on YouTube, some new build, something. But ANET just hasn't been giving us it, because they've been listening to this toxic casual group that goes onto the forums and they put all this piss shit nonsense out there. This is too hard. You're running green armor in a level 80 zone. You are not getting better. Get off the internet. You're not even a casual. You were just a leech, and you're not happy that you can't leech off the casuals. So you come in and we're like, I'm a casual. I do this. I log in. I know people with arthritis who beat raids on a weekly basis. And guess what? They learned all sorts of tricks to do it. But here you are on the forums. No, shut your freaking mouth. Get in the game, learn the mechanics, and quit making casuals look like cancerous pieces of shit. Because I'm tired of it. Every time I log in on Reddit or the forums, here I am, blah, blah, blah. You're worse than any World vs. Worlder out there. I don't care how, these World vs. World purists. No, you're probably that prick that came around and said, look how mad they are. But you'll show up on the forums because they're going to add the mount to World vs. World and not PvE. And then you're going to be like, why can't we get this in PvE? Blah, blah, blah. Because you got to go to World vs. World, dumbass. Did you not read the thing? Because you didn't. It's right there in the freaking video. You have to go to World vs. World to get them out. And since you don't want to do it, you just want them to what? What? You just want to spend 1,000 gold because you're swipe my credit card? Get out. Let the casuals and the elitists play. I love good conversation, not this like, what are you even? How did you even afford the game? Did you ask mommy? Like, how'd you get on the game? How do you even log in? Do you know how to type on a keyboard? Because if you know how to type on a keyboard, you can play this game better than probably 60% of the toxic casuals out there. Congratulations. Because those toxic casuals, they're going to show up on the forums, they're going to be typing away. And I see these long, very convoluted messages, but I'm just like, how can you do this, but you can't seem to pick up a meta build?
Can somebody please clip this? I want this as my ringtone.
That is a big roast. And I think that is a bit of a core issue, is you know, the key thing to draw from that, guys, is that it is a minority, okay, of toxic casual players is a good word. This is actually one coined by Zorik, actually, to be fair, that are dominating the conversation, right? Okay, and in a way, like, to be frank, this is something though where players like us could do better, guys. Like you guys in the chat, me, I hold my hands up. I know I've not been the best for this, okay, but it has to be. We have to kind of make a stand, guys, okay? Most people don't leave comments, don't give feedback, okay? Don't, post on the forums, don't post to Reddit, okay? Don't make YouTube videos, okay? And so the only feedback that ArenaNet sees is this toxic minority of players who just say everything is way too hard. Give us the rewards. Fuck World vs. World. Fuck PvP. Fuck raids. Blah, 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 blah. Just give us that open world casual, ultra easy face roll content. Like no struggle. Look, I've got a job. I can't play. Give me the rewards. Give me the shinies. Okay. So to be honest, guys, it is, and we should have been doing this shit 2 years ago, minimum, okay? Right? This is, in a way, okay, there is something we could have done to do this, guys. So, seriously, if you have the opportunity, okay, give your feedback, right, guys? Post on the forums, talk about Reddit, okay? Go on Reddit, start the conversation, okay? Like, make your voice heard. Yes, we want challenging content. Yes, we want something that's going to push us a little bit, okay? Yes, we want to improve the balance. We want bigger balance patches, more frequent, okay? Make it loud, guys, okay? Because we've got quite a terrifying force. Okay, a terrifying force to go up against, and we're going to need every man, woman, and child that we have at our disposal to actually have any hope of reversing what's happened to the meme fiesta, okay? Do you remember what you said last week about the Mount Teapot? That it's undesirable? I mean, yeah, I actually hold to that, but I'm over it now. It's okay. Yeah.
There's bigger problems.
Yeah.
There are bigger problems raging over a mount that only 50% of the community wants, apparently, or who knows. I want it. I'm excited for next week. I know I'm the only one that's missing a rant here, but I feel like I had my rant before the stream went live. And seriously, wow, guys, you missed something. You missed something big, okay?
Yeah.
You missed something big.
You thought I was angry right there? You should have heard.
Oh, shit.
I'm excited for the mount. Yeah. I'm excited for a full week of playtime and content because, it's going to be fun. Next week's going to be fun.
Yeah. But hang on. What's the point of supporting that in Reddit as soon as you post, you get downvoted? You know people don't touch downvoted threads. Well, then it's time to fucking get on with it, dude. It's time to get on with it and rally the community. Like, look, if everyone in chat right now upvoted something, they would not be able to stop us. Okay, guys, right? But wasn't T-Bot promoting easy mode for these toxic casual a week ago? No, I wasn't promoting it for toxic casuals. I was promoting easy mode because I think, look, guys, raids, the Guild Wars 2 community is quite casual, okay? But there's nothing wrong with that. So I think that making raids more accessible would actually be a good thing. Okay, I think difficulty settings for Guild Wars 2 would be a positive thing. I'm not saying, and personally, I do think that you could effectively implement a story mode of sorts. I wouldn't really be opposed to that, actually. But my reasoning there is totally different. Like, not to like fully pander, but I think there are some players in Guild Wars 2 who are not interested in getting a good build, getting a good rotation, okay? Like learning the rotation, learning how to play their class. And to a certain extent, I think that's fine. I think you have to adapt your content to the to the game, right? And Guild Wars 2 is not a raiding game. Guild Wars 2 is a casual MMO experience, right? So the raids should correspond with that. They should be a more casual raiding experience than, say, a raid in another game, okay? So they already are pretty easy. There's some pretty easy ones, but I do think that there should be an option to kind of be a nice ramp into the content so that players can kind of get a flavor for it, get a bit of a taste for it, and then they can move. If they don't like it, that's fine. They can just go back to whatever they were doing before, okay? If they do like it, that is when they start to transition into the regular mode rating. And bear in mind, guys, easy mode is a different thing because in easy mode, you would not get the same rewards as the normal mode or the challenge mode, okay? So it will be a very different approach as opposed to just handing it out, okay? You dangle a little carrot, okay? And if they go for that little mini carrot, then you say, hey, if you get a little bit better, you do a little bit more DPS, you get a little bit more healing, a bit more boons, then there's a bigger carrot up here for you, and that, slightly a silly analogy, but that's kind of how it goes, right? There's I think a tiered system is good because the transition, guys, between open world meta events and raids is a scary one, guys, okay? Look, in open world, your contribution is not important, okay? Taking that into raids, it won't work out so well for you. Your contribution is very important, okay, in raids, guys. So that is why I think there should be a bit of an incline, right? Okay, an incline to kind of ease people into it there. There you go. Fractals are the ramp. I mean, yeah, fractals are interesting, though. I mean, they're a bit of a ramp, but again, they're a complete clown fiesta, and they actually are a bit annoying to get into because of the agony system, right? Like to actually get that agony resistance set up.
It's easier to get into raids than get into fractals, and fractals is supposed to be the ramp to raids. Yeah, there's a disconnect there, definitely.
Yeah, because of the system.
I guess the disconnect kind of happened with the balancing of the raids in the sense that the devs believed that you had to have. Yeah, I remember the first wing when that came out, and they were talking about, you're definitely going to need to have ascended gear for the last bosses. And that just didn't really turn out to be true. So,
yeah, it turns out you can do it in green gear pretty easily. But there you go. It's again, that was you can see a raid that actually they do adapt to this. To be fair, a little bit, but when raids first came out, I think. One thing ArenaNet does do, I think, is consistently underestimate how good players are at the game. If that makes any sense. Like, guys, there are some people who are good at this game, okay? So, yeah. It doesn't work out how they see it sometimes, right? Raids can look a bit easier than they actually are for the majority of the community, but like that kind of like the 1%, right? Like the 10 to the 5% top 1%, they're actually pretty good, okay? And it makes it it doesn't go quite to plan. Yeah, 3-man VG. I mean, it's been soloed as well. To be fair, like you can solo VG, but it takes ages, and you can solo.
I think raids Teapot, the biggest thing is players don't know they're as good as they are because there's just been no content to sort of prove that to them. So it's a confidence thing. So if there's a step into it, it might build their confidence to go, oh, hey, I am pretty good type of thing. And there's no content in the game really that does that. Even fractals, you can be demoralized if you run into a bad pug group. And in raids, yeah, that's more so because the content goes from here to suddenly up there. And then they think there's this gateway, but really it's like, no, you just need practice, and you got to get confidence in what you're doing with the game, and then you'll go from just a normal casual to an elitist without even knowing it. And I think if there is that stepping stone or a couple steps, something that gives them that confidence boost, we can actually, it's a mental gateway. That's a great way to put it. It's a mental gateway. And I think a lot of the content that is challenging in the game is just that. I don't believe Reddit in their echo chamber, all those people, especially like look down right now, YouTube in the comments. How many of them are negative? How many people are bashing the game?
Yeah.
How many people are saying how shit we are for being here? And that's what you're going to get there because there's nobody challenging them. There's nobody saying, no, these guys are great. No, this is great. You can get into this content. There's none of that because we've gotten so negative because we've sort of been worn down by the game. But really what you guys need is fresh meat. World versus World needs PvEers. Raids need casuals. It's just that's the state of the game right now. If we keep scaring people away and having this mental gateway and these barriers pop up anywhere in the game right now, it's gonna make the game feel empty. And when it feels empty, we're just gonna get more negative. And if we get more negative, it's gonna get more empty. It's gonna be this circle that just keeps going, and it's a spiral down.
Yeah.
So we just need to fight it. So if you like something on Reddit or the forums, just say so. I agree with this person is all you have to say. Upvote it. Be the white knights to the idea that this game is going to be better if we make it better as a community, because ANET's struggling to give us what we want because they're busy listening to these people that are so loud that they're just trying to make them shut up, but they're never going to shut up. So we need to get out there and start being like, ANET, we enjoy this content.
Yes.
Make this content and make this content better.
That's a big clap from me, boys. That's a big clap. Absolutely, guys. Get out there and be the change you want to see. And on the confidence thing, I completely agree with you, Zorak. And you know what? I even have evidence for that hypothesis, by the way. I have taken players who have thought, I'm not good enough for raids. I can't do it. It's too hard, okay? And to be fair, without tooting my own horn too much, guys, having a player who's very experienced like myself is obviously quite handy in a new raiding situation. But I have taken players who are new and then actually they can do it, right? They can do raids, right? Seriously, guys, if you find yourself thinking that you're not good enough for raids, but if you don't want to, don't. That's absolutely fine. But if you think, I'd quite like to raid, but I'm a bit worried that I'm going to be a dead weight, or I'm going to be a leech, or I'm going to fail, I'm going to mess it up for everyone else, I'm going to ruin other people's fun. Just have a go, guys. Okay, just have a go. Get in there, and you will find that you are much better off than you actually think you are. Look at some guys, ask the questions, guys. Don't be afraid of asking questions. And there's going to be that one dickhead who says like, oh, you don't know that? Are you a fucking noob? Okay, but I guarantee you guys, most people in raids, okay, most people in raids are going to be helpful towards you, okay? They are, there's a lot of training groups, a lot of training guilds, a lot of resources out there to help yourself learn and get good. As it were, right, in the raiding scene, guys, okay? Just have a go. Like, don't put up barriers for yourself, right? Okay, you can do it, right? You know what I mean? You can do it. Big gameplay. If I was in your raids, you would feel like you're dragging a lead brick around you. Oh, well, even if that's the case, dude, okay, after years in Guild Wars 2, okay, my arms, back, legs, I can carry anything, dude. Okay, trust me. Okay, it's not gonna make any difference, right? It's not gonna be a problem. Just have a go if you want to do it. You have a go, okay? And trust me, it won't go badly. Okay, it might do, but it probably won't. You'll be fine.
It's a time-based game. The more time you put in this game, the better you're gonna get. Just automatically. It's so casual that way that you just get more rewards, you get better at the game. The more effort you put in just magnifies that. So if you're putting in a lot of time, a lot of effort,
exponential for everyone.
You just Just do it, because what's the worst? Someone's gonna call you an idiot or something. Let me tell you, I've been called an idiot 90% of my life. All right, but I know I'm not an idiot. But people just
You're
say
not
it
an
because.
idiot.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That makes me so happy, Zork. Right here. Can't even rant anymore.
Wisdom, Sorik. We
Yeah.
need that emote. When is that happening? Sorik Wisdom.
Oh man, we're gonna have to make it
Yep.
because those affiliates getting emotes.
Yeah. Oh, that's a pretty cool change.
Yeah, they're
actually.
good.
Yeah.
What is never mind. Let's not talk about that.
This there was a comment back there actually, like, what's the point in raiding after you've geared out your character? Well, because it's fun. Yeah, this goes back.
Yeah.
This actually happens. I understand this is probably coming from an MMO experience like World of Warcraft, where gearing your character is you do the raid, you keep gearing up characters. You know, there's next raid, better gear, stuff like that. But even in those games, right? You're playing for fun, right? You play the raids for fun. So again, guys, like the point of a video game, in my opinion, is to provide entertainment. Okay, it's for enjoyment. Okay, and that is why you raid in Guild Wars 2. That's why you PvP in Guild Wars 2. That's why you World vs. World in Guild Wars 2. It's because it's fun and you like it. Okay, if you're not having fun in the game, I would recommend trying another game or another hobby. You know, that's kind of the point. Okay, it's yeah, there you go. I don't understand. You know, exactly. And well, another thing is again, another worrying thing about how the gaming is going. Like this is like a completely like general like randomized rant tea time. But like I would recommend getting into the social aspect of the game as well. Then join a guild, join a community, like get on Discord with people. You know what I mean? Because trust me, so many people who play with me, and maybe even myself, would have quit if not for the players in the game. In fact, no, I absolutely tell a lie. If I was playing this game solo, okay, and I didn't stream, I wasn't in Salt, wasn't in a community, I just pugged raids, I would have quit this game like a long time ago, right? Or I wouldn't be playing it nearly as much, okay?
Yeah, me too.
The reason that veteran players stick around, a lot of reasons why I still find enjoyment in Guild Wars 2, 100%. I still like playing this game, okay? Why do I like playing this game? Mostly because I'm playing with friends, I have my community, I love talking with you guys on the stream, okay? I love talking to my community in Discord, going crazy, doing like weird, wonky stuff in raids, going crazy in World vs. World sometimes, even though sometimes that makes me want to kill myself, but I mean, that's another thing entirely. Look at all the people. Look at all these peepos, guys. Look at all these peepos. Like, look, friends, exactly. Look at those peepo happies, dude. Precisely. Okay, no, I did not beat the peepos. What the fuck? Stop, UK, cancel that shit. What the, oh, God, yeah, there's like this weird one here. This one is borderline contraband, okay? Like, this one is like, what is this one?
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, like, what's happened to his eyes? Okay? Yeah.
Well, they're my eyes. I've been superimposed on a peepo. That's what happened there. I didn't do it.
Scary. I'm kind of scared, man.
It is kind of scary.
I feel a little bit of fear here. You know, I'm just like, oh my. Yeah, it's look at all those peepos. Though, it's some good stuff. But anyway, guys, so yeah, if you're looking to extend your enjoyment of the game, then absolutely get into the community aspect of it, right? Like, and yeah, it's an MMO. What happened to that, guys? It just
living
goes,
story.
Yeah. It's living story. It's just it's path of least resistance, right? Like if the
living story is soloable all the way through.
Yeah,
Why have an MMO?
No, seriously,
solo.
I honestly think
Give
that's
us a good meta.
It's a legitimate concern, right? Like, why is there almost no content in Guild Wars 2 that actually forces you to group up, right? Okay, I think that is actually a concern. I do genuinely think that in an MMO, there should be quite a lot of stuff that you need to organize to do. I think, for example, that not all open world events should be super, super easy, right? I think some of them, to get maximum rewards, should actually require map-wide organization and a community effort, okay? To actually, fully beat the event. I think that would actually, I mean, all these guilds, right, that used to do this stuff, like all the Tequatl guilds, like the Triple Trouble guilds, okay, they're all gone because some do, like Triple Trouble. Do you want to remind me when Triple Trouble came out?
No, because I'm just gonna cry.
Okay, No, guys, okay? None do, okay? Right? None fucking do. Okay? Look, guys, I really think there should actually be more mandatory group content, okay? To build that sense of community. I think that the average player in Guild Wars 2 is basically running around in a world that they do solo, okay? And then there are like AIs that are actually players. Okay, I mean it is exactly what it is. I mean, it's a very much a single player experience. I don't think that's healthy for an MMO. I don't think it's healthy for Guild Wars 2. Really, it's just not good. It's just not good. But I still do enjoy the game. Okay, I still enjoy this game, and that is because of the community, because of the memes.
All the memes keep us alive.
Yes, the memes keep us alive at this point. We are fully sustaining ourselves on meme magic alone, guys. There you go. It feels good. It feels good. Wow. And what a conversation, guys. I know, my goodness. I don't even know where to go from there, actually. I mean, what the fuck? That was intense. I honestly don't even know what to say anymore, guys. Everything you say.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so with the Warclaw, guys, right? I mean, whew. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Does a referral link exist for Guild Wars 2? Nice. Yeah, absolutely. Below the stream. Support your favorite Guild Wars 2 content creator. You could try Dora or Zorix link as well. Boom. Go. Easy. Okay. Yeah. If there will be any Guild Wars 2 that need to add something like HOM. Yeah, I agree, actually. Yeah. Why does Deroy look so wise without saying anything? Well, it's just his natural wisdom. It's the headphones as well, actually.
It's the headphones that are giving off the natural vibe of wisdom.
Yeah, and you've got the plants.
I'm just sitting here holding back a flood of wisdom. That's what's happening here.
Yeah. Mega IQ. Yeah, Twitch Prime. Everyone, Twitch Prime. Subscribe now. Go. What do you think will be bundled in with the Warclaw next week? New runes, sigils, general fixes. That's an interesting one.
Just
actually.
balance.
That's an interesting.
I don't think there's gonna be much to it. New runes and sigils. No, I'm not foreseeing that. I think it's just gonna be pure balance. There's not gonna be any crazy stirrings. We almost just had the sigil and rune release. They might touch on a few of those, but that's about the extent of it, I think.
They're going to buff Cavalier runes from 20% damage to 100% damage.
100% extra damage. Easy.
I saw that. Like, unless they buff those runes, if you're falling for that, thank you. The flippers enjoyed it.
It's going to be good. Hard buff.
Does that actually work? It's when you dismount, but does it work if you get knocked down? Like, get knocked off the mount? I don't know. I haven't tested it. I have yet to invest in Cavalier runes because I'm of the opinion that it's probably going to get hard bop.
You think?
I see no reason to throw gold at that because that's definitely going to get hard bop.
I think it's important to run your runes and stuff for your build more than it is for that mount. Don't fall for the mount. I just know it's going to come out and you guys are going to think it's so powerful and it's going to take one meme group with 20 ballistas on a hill, just pew, 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 and you guys are dying. And here you are on your Scourge without your Renegade runes or whatever, just getting annihilated because you can't get to them. And then, there's a Zerg of mounts just standing with the ballistas. So, here you are getting knocked off your mounts. And then the real cavalry comes down. And, that's a fantastic strategy. And I'm already seeing it now. Can't wait for the YouTube video. Can't wait for the Reddit post of you guys crying because, the Cavalier runes, blah, blah, blah. No, it's just the mount. I don't think the mount's going to be that effective. I think it's going to be a taxi. It's going to get you to the tower, the keep, to the Zerg, but this is what's good. Mounts are going to come this way. Mounts are going to come different Zergs. They're both going to dismount, build up, and then hit each other. That's all it is. These guys are going to find each other faster. The roamers who are crying like, "Oh man, this mount's going to ruin roaming." No, it's going to improve you because you're going to find
the opponents so much better. I'm mainly roaming. I love this change. This is the best thing that's going to happen. It's going to make it so much easier to go get back in. Cross those long distances. It's just gonna just right. I'm so excited for that on a roaming aspect, not so much on the Zerg, but yeah, just. Oof.
Yeah, I can certainly see that. But if you're a roamer in enemy territory, they can catch you and you can't escape. Though. That's
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
funny. That's kind of funny. Yes,
Then you better fight.
You gotta fight. You
there's
gotta
no
fight.
escape.
Dismount,
But you
can.
gotta be smart about it. That's the thing. You have to be smart about it. You have to know if you're going into enemy territory, then you will be a bigger target. And if you actually get into enemy territory, will there be water around? Because you guys know cats don't like water. It's a land mount. It's gonna dismount everyone if you go into water, and that's where everyone's gonna be back into equal territory. So
Isn't that going to make Greenkeep more defensible?
it's gonna be
Then-
interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's definitely ways to maneuver around the mount, even when you're getting chased. It's just about being clever about it, not just running headlessly into or mindlessly into whatever territory that you might want to go to. You have to outweigh the options here because there are a lot of sneaky things that you can probably do with a mount.
I think there are. I mean, I don't know. I'm really interested to see. Like, maybe you can do some crazy. What I'm expecting to see is like some really wonky like flanking moves, right? Okay, with the mount, right? Like, there'll be a blobs fighting, right? But you'll have kept like a few warriors off to the side. They're gonna leap in, get the bubble up. But I think other than that, I don't think it will interfere much. Because like if someone sees you on the mount, it's very easy for them to knock you off it. And if you get knocked off, you know you're not gonna have a good time. You're not gonna have a good time. But yeah, I mean, it will just be, I mean, the interaction with stealth is interesting. Someone in Sigurdal told me in chat that you can actually stealth on the mount. That is a bit scary, I have to say, because that effectively gives a lot of mobility to all of that. So, like, yeah, with cloaking waters and stone mist.
I don't know actually. I
and
kind of
with
want to
veils
test
and
stuff.
stuff.
I know that the player, when you're watching, when you stealth and you mount up, player character will be stealth. The question is, how does the server manage the mount itself for the enemy? Because the mount never goes actually stealthed when you're viewing it. There is actually a way to test it. We can go and test it right now if anyone wants to party up with me real quick.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, add me. Let's go. Actually, let's go because you can do it in the arena, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the tiny little arena.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it.
Let me log in. Give me a second.
The problem is, will that servers even?
If you go to the,
you
can just go to the sanctuary and we'll figure this out.
The sanctuary. Where is the sanctuary? I haven't even got it unlocked, dude. So is that gonna work?
All right, then wait for it's not gonna work. Then wait for me.
Okay. Yeah. I'm bad. Okay. What map is it in, by the way?
It's that one. There we go. Jahai Bluffs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm in the mix. Let's go, guys. Cool. Here we go. And have the Raptor engagement from the last draft tournament.
Easy.
Oh yeah, we could do it in Guildhall as well, actually, right? Because you can do it. You don't have to do it in the.
Can you mount up in the arena?
Yeah, I think so. I think you can, right?
Because I don't think so. I don't know though. That's the thing.
I think you can. Because I think yeah you can. Because there was a GVG tournament actually that I was actually spectating, and like, people like in one round people like trolled and like all engaged on Raptors. It was really funny.
Now that's cool.
Yeah, so that's entertaining.
The original mounts they hit kind of hard. The Raptor is one of the hard hitting ones, but the most interesting thing about the Raptor is obviously the what's it called, the pull of it. Because the most hard hitting right now is the Griffin. That one hits like a truck.
The big boy, the Griffin, boy. All right, let's see if this is gonna work. All right, lads. Someone come in the guild arena, Salt Guild arena, guys, and stealth. Okay, I'm on red team. Don't go on red team. Okay, go on other team. And
can you mount up? Test if you can.
Yeah,
mount
you can.
Up
You can. Yeah, I'm flying around like crazy. Look at me go. Okay,
I am coming.
Someone get in here, lads. Okay, and then boom. Let's see if we can get this stealth action going on here, lads. Okay. Yeah, there is a DPS made by the Arc DPS. Also, guys, seeing as we seem to have run out of things to actually discuss, okay? If you got any questions, now was the time, okay? If you have some questions for us, we will answer them. And I think we've demonstrated that we have an insane amount of wisdom, okay? We will now dispense that wisdom to you.
Wait, where the fuck are you,
guys? I'm in the Guildhall. Salt Guildhall. Red team.
I think we're in different shards. What the fuck?
Oh my, yeah.
It's like one person, and Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, we're actually in different instances. Nice. Okay, no,
Alright,
okay. Nico's gonna do it though. I think he's gonna smoke.
Alright.
Hang on, right there he is. He's over there. Okay, I think he's gonna big stealth himself. Okay. Oh, okay. Right there we go. He's invisible. Is he on the mount though?
Well, you have. Wait.
I can't tell, but oh shit!
Well, that's
yeah,
the real
no, I think
question.
he got me. Yeah, he got me with the raptor from stealth. Oh, okay. All right.
All right.
Okay.
See, now that's interesting.
Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, you can actually stealth in mounts right now. Okay. Whether they'll change that remains to be seen, though. Okay. Whether they change that does remain to be seen. So, oh yeah, and I think someone else. Yeah, I think
Squat's right there.
Yep. Yeah, Patho got me as well with it, with the bunny from Stealth. So maybe that gets changed though, guys. We don't know. Okay. Because ow, now I'm dead. Wow, they killed me with mounts. What the fuck, guys? Come on, man. But yeah, there you have it. That's an interesting one. So anyway, what is the easiest class to begin in raids? I'd probably just play like a generic DPS class like Condi Soul Beast or Hollow Smith or something like that. Also, Condi Warrior is easy to learn, hard to master as well. Do you think it's possible to implement new gear progression? Do we need it? I mean, it's possible, but I would be a strong no on that. I think actually it's a pretty good selling point of Guild Wars 2 that it's very alt-friendly and you can play a lot of different characters, right? In Guild Wars 2. What do you guys think about that? Gear progression, yay or nay?
I mean, I'm always going to be in the favor of nay, because gear progression, it takes away from the actual focus on the combat system of this game, which is the biggest selling point for this. Like I'm not so much against gear progression because it's like something you have to farm all the time. I'm against it because it diminishes the actual meaning of the skill level of the game. Like it instantaneously will just lower the quality, or not the quality, the difficulty of older content. And I'm not for more power creep. I'm just not.
I'm more interested.
There's a great emphasis on how the skills and everything interact with each other. That should just be more emphasized and utilized, in my opinion.
I'm more interested in elite specs and what stat sets, things like that, than gear getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Like I'm glad ANET added in Ascended Armor because it was an interesting thing when they did it. But again, you're talking a very low percentage. If they did it again, it would still have to be a low percentage, because just like Dror said, it would just, like, what's the point of the old content? If we keep this power creep up, the old content's going to become more trivial, and we've already talked about that today. So,
yeah.
Yep.
One of the greatest features, in my opinion, of Guild Wars 2 is the fact that the emphasis lies solely on the skill of the player. The skill of the classes and the skill of the player, not the gear that you're wearing necessarily.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as Zorik says, I think that's a really key point there, is that all content in the game is permanently relevant. And you even see this with their level scaling system, right? Like even old maps that are lower level can actually still be relevant, because you don't get more powerful as the game goes on, right? Like all the raids, like Wing 1 is still going to be Wing 1 forever, right? You're still, that's never going to go away. Like, whereas in, say, a game like World of Warcraft, like old raids are just skin grinds. You just one shot everything in them for skins eventually, right?
Yeah. And
so I think that's keeping everything relevant is good, especially when you have a slightly slower development cycle, shall we say, when it comes to content like that. It's extra good, okay, for that. Any
Argus hits a.
Oh yeah, you go ahead.
Argus Gaming there hits a good point. Like, what about the horizontal progression of armor, changing the look, things like that? I'm always interested in that, but ANET's sort of poor when they introduce it. Just look at all the achievements you have to do for the latest weapon set. Like, I like. So say they introduce different types of legendary armor, I'm okay with that. Or ways to convert armors or improve them to give them different looks, so they're not getting more powerful, they're just giving you more cosmetics and things. That would be interesting. I would definitely I definitely want to see a system that would work that more. Just slowly making something look better. I think, going from exotic to ascended to legendary, like World versus World does, and it keeps changing the armor is one thing. But what if they can get a top tier armor and then you can start changing it to make it look differently. Yeah.
In a way, that's what they've done with legendary armor, right? Like, across all the gamers, you kind of have a precursor, right, and then you upgrade it, right, to the next level, right, and you get that change in appearance, right? So that's.
I think mostly that's actually the case that Sorg is putting forward there. That's the PvP in World vs. World, because you don't actually go from exotic to ascended to legendary. You go from exotic to ascended to ascended. It just looks different.
Better.
There's just different tiers of this ascended version, and then you can upgrade any of these ascended versions into a legendary version of said ascended version. But you don't get the higher skin by going that way. You have to buy the higher tier, the tier 3 World vs. World armor to get that glowy effect. Yeah. And I feel like that works pretty well. I wonder how interesting that actually is to most players, because in a lot of ways, like we kind of saw that when they introduced the wings for PvP. A lot of the big World vs. Worlders kind of thought that this was the, I don't know what to explain. I remember watching Judges being super let down by the wings, because it wasn't actually any better. It wasn't the way to legendary necessarily. It was just wings. It was just a skin. And I can kind of empathize with that, in that it's just a skin, and skin is kind of meaningless, especially in a game where a lot of people are nowadays kind of defaulting back to some of the starter skins, because a lot of these elementalists would rather have a skirt all the time, and the only skirt there is like the one that you get initially from the fucking starter menu. Like, yeah. So I can kind of, like, skins are so, I don't know, I wouldn't say lame, but it's like we've kind of de-emphasized them. We've kind of de-emphasized the meaning of shiny skins in a lot of ways by just going with what we like more, because in the end it just, I don't know, it doesn't matter. It's just whatever you feel like looks better. I don't know how valuable skins are at this point is what I'm trying to argue for. Like, I genuinely don't know. Like, that's what I'm putting forward, because when we get new skins in the game, like, you can look at the statistics just from the Dragon's Blood weapons or the Requiem armor. Less people have the Requiem armor than have done Doom CM, I think. Like, it's so crazy, and this is the open world content that people should be pushing for. This is what everyone wants, but nobody is actually going for it. And the same with the Dragon's Blood weapons. Nobody has them. There's less than 1,000 people that has all the Dragon's Blood skins. Like, I think it's actually less than 300. It's so crazy. It's insane.
I think a big part of that is there's no prestige, no? It's just
exactly. That's exactly. There's no meaning behind it.
Yeah.
We already have all our looks. All our characters are decked out. If you've been in this game for a long time, you might do a slight tweak here or there. Nobody cares about the skins, because there's no prestige to it. There's no achievement points to it either. Even, like, who cares?
Well, they're old achievements that you'd probably have done, like all the rare skin collections, or like even the Ambrite weapon collection. Once you get that done, like, how many people use the Ambrite weapons and things like that? Like, they did it so when these new collections come out, they're like, well, I don't use those skins, why would I get these skins? And outfits, usually tend to look better than that, and they tend to match. Yeah, so
yeah, and well, I mean, I understand that the company has to make money, but like, a lot of like the really cool stuff actually ends up in the gem store. Like, I damn, dude, the Arcane rifle was back in the gem store the other day, and wow, dude, that's a great skin for a rifle. What the fuck?
It's the best looking rifle skin in the entire game, in my opinion. I fucking love that skin.
Yeah. Oh, I do want to just quickly point out this hilarious bug. I really hope they fix this. Sigadil told me about this earlier, actually. Nico is running around like crazy here, glitching out. He's actually not on his... Oh, no, I'm attacking him. He is not on his mount right now because he got revealed or something, like while using his dismount skill from stealth. It has actually confused my client into thinking that he's still on his mount. So as you can see, he's right now glitching around like crazy, using all of his Holosmith and engineer abilities while on his mount model on my screen.
Incoming hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reports of people hacking in World vs. World. That's 100% going to happen because that's what's happening.
Just
right
know
there.
he's not hacking or anything.
No. He's not hacking, but it seems like he is. People are going to believe that he's teleporting all over the place.
But don't worry, that isn't actually happening. There is just a bit of a glitch right now. I hope that does get fixed. Because that's going to be awkward, because then everyone's going to be on... And it would look kind of cool, though, to be fair, actually. Everyone, like, charging into combat on mounts through stealth, but maybe a bit confusing and a bit, maybe too many models for the game to handle there, exactly. So, yeah, maybe not ideal there. There was a question about the... other projects. Oh, by the way, yes, Pams, I'll carry you if you sub. Easy. Another thing is how do we feel about the fact that there were external projects to Guild Wars 2 in ArenaNet that were actually, the developers were being sent to actually work on this, diverted away from Guild Wars 2. I think that's a question we can talk about, and it's an interesting one as well, actually, because I to be fair, I think a lot of people have suspected that this was the case for a long time. But they must be doing something, right? There must be something else going on, right? There must be something going on. It explains a lot. Honestly, it does explain a lot, to be frank. It's like, well, okay, well, that makes sense.
Everything.
That makes sense.
It's the final break of the puzzle.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. But
it's confirmation that something was happening.
Are you not surprised, though? Because Guild Wars 2, mechanically, as a game... is superior to its competition, mostly, right?
Oh yeah, I'm surprised that they didn't think Guild Wars 2 was their winning IP.
I always have said, I said this a lot, right? Guild Wars 2 is like ArenaNet's golden goose. They don't. This actually, did you know what this confirms to me, Doroya, chat, Zorik? This confirms that ArenaNet do not know what they have created. They do not know what they have created. This game is mechanically better than its competition, right? All they need to do is put stuff in it and they will actually dominate the competition if they wanted to, okay? But they've just taken this bizarre avenue, okay, of like marketing it to a very, a very quite a niche audience. They've marketed it like the super casual, open world Clown Fiesta skins game, okay? But honestly, they could easily compete, right, with all the other Realm v Realm games. They could easily compete with all the other raiding games. Well, basically WoW and Final Fantasies, but they could do it. It wouldn't even be hard for them to do it. All they have to do is put it in. Seriously, ArenaNet, I am sorry for not saying this earlier, but seriously, guys, you do apparently I mean, maybe not the developers, but the higher ups, right, the management. You guys do not understand, okay, how good your game is, okay. Wake up. Seriously. I
think just bottom line, I'm super disappointed. I'm extremely disappointed. I'll not go on a crazy rant streak here, but I'm incredibly disappointed. I feel like in a lot of ways I've spent a lot of time kind of like we all have arguing for this game being their best fucking sales pitch. I mean, and now it's just kind of apparently they didn't believe in it. They didn't believe in it as much as the players did. They believed something else was the way to go. Here, okay, let me point something out, right? Because we obviously don't know what Project 2 and 3 was. The only reason why we have any inclination to believe that Project 2 and 3 were something other than GW2 is because of, well, as I said earlier, an unreliable source, aka Jessica Price. Let's not bring up any old chatter about that. But she's actually been the biggest source of like insider knowledge in that, like a Glassdoor kind of I was about to say review. because she kind of opened up about what was going on, that ArenaNet developers were being funneled off from Guild Wars 2 to work on and then still pretend like they had just the same amount of developers on the live production as always. The thing is, like, and this is where I'm not gonna say, because someone else already, and you know who I'm talking about, has already gotten a bit of a slap, let's just put it like that, for calling out lying. I'm not gonna say that they lied to us, they misled us. I feel incredibly misled. I feel like I was led to believe that Guild Wars 2 was their golden goose, that they were all in on this one, and whatever else they were doing behind the scenes was to promote this thing. I've been advocating for this game for the longest time, saying that, yeah, okay, maybe the living story is subpar, or in reality, the living story is absolute fucking trash, all right? It's complete trash. But I always kind of went about it just saying, all right, but something good is happening behind the scenes. All right, I'll live with this living story coming out. A lot of people give me flack for like white knighting the living stories and whatnot. Like, but the reality is, I always just kind of believe that something better was happening behind the scenes. Turns out it wasn't. It's just trash. And that's where I'm like, what the fuck is actually gonna happen? Like,
how bad?
I feel so fucking misled. I really do. Like, I made this analogy. It's kind of funny, so I'll say it again. I made this analogy before the stream where I feel like what's happened is that like, okay, so this is a hypothetical. I feel like a girlfriend through many years has come up to me and said, do you know what? I think I want to marry you. And I've realized this because the two other blokes that I've been banging behind your back every night has kind of, they didn't work out, but I kind of want to try with you now. Yeah. And I'm like, I feel like I should feel happy, but because it came to fruition. But in the end, she was banging two other blokes behind my back, and I was pouring money into her for no apparent reason. But apparently that was being sent over to us. I know this is a horrible analogy, but holy shit, that's how I feel.
Ain't it cheated on? Is that what you're telling me? Like, yeah. Well,
Jesus
Christ. When we don't actually know what those other projects were, of course. Yeah. But I mean, I was thinking, okay, right. So they're obviously working on it because of the way the content was coming through. I was thinking, okay, it's obviously Guild Wars 3 or it's an expansion, right? Okay. And I'm not sure, and now that may not be the case, right? It might, the plan might have actually just been to just do living story kind of forever, right? Which is a bit, which is, you know, a little bit disheartening, and it sucks when, you know, the confidence you have in the game is not actually replicated within the company. Right, that's it's a bit worrying, right? Isn't it? It is a little bit scary, but I think we should probably do another question. Yeah, let me.
I was gonna put in my 2 cents, but
no, absolutely. Sorry. Yeah, no, go ahead. Just like I'll look for a question. You sort us out with.
I was gonna say I agree with Roar and how he feels, but I think he feels a little stronger than I do. I feel like seeing the layoffs, it's terrible. Like, it's terrible that this is happening. But at the same time, seeing it, but I'm not... We will always talk about ArenaNet's potential, right? This potential of they can do this, they can do that. There's a lot of potential with the game, but even on my streams and stuff, I say all the time, like, ANET has that potential, but I don't think they can tap into it, is what I always say. But, you know, as the number of employees grew and people are telling me, it's 300, now it's 400, I'm like, oh, they've got to be working on stuff. They got to be getting things in motion, you know, and I've talked about like surprise expansion and stuff. And then seeing these layoffs, it's this big balloon being deflated. Like, this is it. This is all we got. And it's just like, you know, at the same time, it's just, I want ANET to tap into that potential. And if they're going to make money and spend money, it should be on this game. I mean, if you can get this game to get what was once just good enough to great and then to fantastic, you're going to see a lot more people coming into the game. And it's just sad that, but we don't know. That's the other thing. I don't know. This is all speculation. I don't know what projects those were. What if it was a Guild Wars 2 oriented mobile app or a Guild Wars 2 oriented this? Maybe it was a new engine they were working on, but it wasn't coming around. Something like that. I don't know until we get an official response. But then I'm like, are we going to get an official response? So...
Absolutely. I mean, let's. I think we've all got good answers there, and I think we do all hope for some kind of official response. Like maybe the focus will change now. Who knows? Who the fuck knows? But let's get another question, shall we, guys? No one knows Guild Wars 2 has raids. Can we talk about that? ArenaNet are not that. Again,
they don't promote it at all.
They don't promote stuff externally.
They haven't promoted a single raid ever since.
The only people who know that Guild Wars 2 has raids are people who always play or already play the game, right? They're not very good at marketing the game to anyone who isn't already in the game, right? So again, it's kind of the same issue that we were just talking about. It's almost like it's almost like they're ashamed, or they don't feel that their raids can stack up to the other ones, right? They don't feel like they should be advertising that, right? I don't know, it's a very
the same with PvP Tournament of Legends. No promotion. What was World Warclaw? There's a mount. Now we're getting something. I mean, but if it was alliances, no one would be like, the marketing definitely wouldn't be talking about that. I just don't believe it. We get a side note somewhere all the time for like these big things that actually shake up the entire game and like are big events.
When I read
then we get a giant thing for a mount.
It is a bit sad, isn't it? That it doesn't get promoted nearly as much. I think it really should. It really should. I play ranked PvP all the time. I didn't know the Tournament of Legends was going on. Yeah, and they have the technology to advertise it in the game as well, and link to maybe even say a Twitch stream, their own Twitch stream, for example. If they could have had me and Georges, for example, who we both casted the EUAT, we could have gone on their stream, for example, and done it there. But no, that didn't happen. Or hell, fuck it. They could have just they could have said, hey, Teapot and Jorah casting the AT. Jebro's doing it on NA. Check out that cool action. But no, that that sort of thing just doesn't happen. When I read these /games and /MLPG threads on the layoffs, a lot of replies are blaming the lack of Trinity in raids. Those people are idiots. They are. There you go. The Guild Wars 2 system is actually superior in the fact that if you want to play it as a Trinity, you actually can. This is I think a lot of players outside Guild Wars 2 fundamentally misunderstand the game because it's so different. And it does actually innovate a bit in the way you can play the game. But look, if you guys want to play, if you're new to Guild Wars 2, guys, if you're in the stream right now, if you're new, if you want to play a fucking hard tank character, and then you have hard healers, like dedicated healers, and then dedicated DPS, you can absolutely do that if you want to. If you want to play everyone as kind of a healer, kind of a DPS, you can do that too. Right? You can do anything, right? You can approach the content however you want, really. Okay, and that's actually not even a meme. Seriously, it's not even a meme. Nico's doing this because he's not actually mounted right now, guys. It's my client is glitched out and still sees him on the mount because he attacked me. He dismounted on me from stealth, so my client's glitched right now. I can't believe no one's noticed this before. How has no one noticed this before, guys? Seriously. That's so
because
weird.
We usually don't interact with each other on stealth mounts or mounts in general.
Yeah, of course. Because where would you ever see this? Because normally, if you do stealth,
it's gonna be a massive issue coming up just on Tuesday. But until then, no one's seen it because nobody fights each other.
The only place this can happen is like the Guild Arena and that Sunspear place, right?
Sun's Refuge.
Yeah. These are the only two places. Ben has been informed. Good call. Citadel, good call. Okay. T-Bot should do a hard Trinity raid. Well, the thing is, we actually kind of do. The current meta game for raids basically is a hard Trinity. You have your Chronos, who is a tank, right? Almost all the time. Who also does a bit of damage. But bear in mind, guys, in World of Warcraft, your tanks actually do DPS. Like, actually, in the current meta game in World of Warcraft, guys, You'll notice that they actually play sort of like discipline priests, right? Because they actually do some DPS, right? And the warriors also do. The tanks do DPS as well in WoW, and then the DPS do DPS as well. So it's actually more similar than you might think. It's just because of the way that the boon system works that maybe confuses people a little bit. But no,
the Hard Trinity is an outdated system that no one adheres to anymore, anyways.
It's not like this doesn't happen in other games, right? Like it's actually quite similar. Right now, you have a druid for healing, you have tanks, you have a chrono tank, right, and then you have DPS, right? That's kind of, that's a trinity, right? If you want to, but you don't. But again, guys, you don't have to play like that if you don't want to. But that is a trinity-ish, right? You don't have to. You don't have to play like that. You can, but you don't have to. For example, I have been having a bit of fun over the past few weeks playing like hybrid comps, right? I think it's hilarious, right? I honestly think it's really funny to play where everyone's a bit of a healer, everyone's a bit of a damager, everyone's a bit of a CC'er, right? That sort of thing. I don't know. I think it's kind of funny. In fact, I enjoy the game more like that. To be frank, right? I do. I prefer it that way. But you don't have to play it like that if you want. You can very much play. You can pick whatever classes and builds you want in raids, pretty much, right? It'll work out. So, yeah. Let's see. Have we got any other questions? What kind of updates that are feasible would ANET need to produce for Guild Wars 2 to make it sustainable in a good way? To be frank, I think the game is sustainable. I just don't think it is really up to its potential. I think they'll continue to make money. I think if you look at the figures, I think ArenaNet Guild Wars 2 is profitable. I think they make money. But as long as they just keep, I think releasing new elite specializations for a start would be a very good thing. It would really spice up the game and keep it fresh. But in general, like if they just keep doing what they're doing, it will be sustainable. Like mount skins make a lot of money. That's it'll be very
sustainable. But like we've been talking about, like developers, like okay. So one of the reasons why a lot of people have been thinking that something was going on in the background is because everything else has been kind of stagnating, right? We've had fewer raid releases, we've had fewer fracture releases, we have fewer everything. And like it's been boiled down to the core things that they've spent their time on, and it's burning out the veterans because it's not coming out at the same pace as we would like it to come out, even though the capacity of the entire studio could easily bear that. I guess 400 employees could easily bear putting out much more content than what was actually happening. And I think at this point, if it continues on as it has so far, people will just slowly burn out and then come back and just burn out and come back, and it's just not gonna move in any crazy direction, in my opinion, unless something extreme changes.
I think that's what our overall complaint is, right? It's just that the game it's okay, right? But we see that it has this potential to really shine, right? And be different, and we don't see that being capitalized on. So yeah, it will continue, right? But it won't excel. It won't live up to its potential. Zorak, you got any thoughts on that question there with regards to what would you like to see?
That's been what I've been saying since.
Teapot, when did my name change to Rando Asset? Has that been there the entire?
That's been there a lot. As soon as you mentioned JP, God, I immediately changed it. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah. I didn't even notice either.
Okay, guys, the jig's up. He knows. I've got to put it back. Chat. He knows. Sorry, continue.
But anyways, I've been saying that since 2012, actually. ANET has all this potential, and then over the years, I thought HOT, as horrible as I feel about that expansion, in my personal opinion, I just feel like it was the necessary evil because it gave us all these new systems to work with and new guild halls and things like that. And that's the other thing. We haven't seen new guild halls. We haven't seen an update to the guild stuff. And with 400 employees, we could have seen that probably. We could have actually seen an updated guild panel with more information, things like that. And, I've always said this, like, HOT came out and I saw these changes and I'm like, the expansions are going to give us this potential. They're going to bring new things. And then when Path of Fire came out, they brought us mounts. Even though I was against mounts, now I can't live without them, right? So, and it was the expansions doing that, but it was still slowing down. The potential wasn't being reached, even in raids and all these mechanics they were learning. The new movement-based stuff that they're starting to find, especially the ice mechanics and stuff. I think it's great. You're coming up with these new things, but you still haven't tapped the potential of things you already have. Or maybe that is tapping the potential of something they've already been working with.
No,
but
I think really, I agree with everything that you're saying there, but I just don't think that that was tapping the potential. I think what's happened after Path of Fire is that most of the companies slowly got funneled off to the point where like the refinements that needed to happen for Path of Fire never came into place because those developers weren't around. Like everyone who's been screaming for Path of Fire meta events to get updated and everything, all those systems to get rebooted or reworked or like just tweaked in some way, those devs aren't there. The devs that are left are stretched so thin just trying to keep up with the living story patches. Like we've all been wondering why something like the domain of Korna lived on for so long with the bugs and everything that it has and still has to this day. Same goes with every other living story map and the entirety of Path of Fire. None of those refinements happened and likely won't happen because the devs moved on, and not just to something other Guild Wars thing. They weren't there. They technically weren't present, and so we've kind of just been in this like slow degradation because all of these great systems that they were implementing, they weren't getting retouched. They weren't getting readdressed or just reused in any other way. All that we really got was a handful of devs likely who had the tools available that they have right now, and maybe they could push one or two extra mechanics or features or whatnot here or there, and that was it. They couldn't go back. There was no way that they could go back. That's in my opinion. I mean, like I was saying earlier, this is the piece of the puzzle that was missing. This is the reason why we are where we are right now.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
I'm afraid so. Yeah. Oh, this is an interesting one. Do you think more focus on competition PvP WoW would increase Guild Wars 2 range on Twitch? This is an interesting one. I would say probably yes. Because your average PvPer is more likely to watch Twitch than your average casual player. It's worth noting, though, that actually people always make the argument that the most popular games are actually PvP games, and this is true, but you'll notice that the most popular MMOs on Twitch are actually PvE focused. For example, PvP does not do nearly as well as PvE does in World of Warcraft, okay? So I think if you actually really wanted to drive Guild Wars 2 on Twitch, the probably best focus would actually be to like really crank out hard raid and fractal content would probably be the best way to go. You'll notice whenever there's a raid wing release, for example, there was a time when Wing 6 came out. The wings actually do better almost every time, actually, to be fair. When Wing 6 came out, me and Wood and Potatoes actually both had 2.5K viewers at the same time, right? There were 5,000 people watching Wing 6 progression, right? Okay, if you could get that, a good chunk of that every 3 months, and then you make it hard, okay? And because like Wing 6 is not that difficult, right? But imagine if that progression took a week, right? You know what I mean? Ooh, now we're talking, right? Okay.
In comparison, for PvP, we've kind of tried that before. We had the tournaments, we had all that jazz, and it wasn't pulling those same numbers, at least not in the same time span. Like it was maybe pulling the finals. I'm throwing numbers out here because I don't remember. If Jebro's in chat, he probably remembers. But it was upwards of like just 5, 6, maybe 8,000 people watching it. It wasn't something crazy. Like it was on the same level as raids are, and like that was for a big finale with like all this mega marketing around it. Imagine if they actually pushed for more raids. How actual crazy that could be.
ANET also has to embrace Twitch for what it is and not what they sort of want it to be. That's another big thing.
I got banned on their official thing for Posting feels bad, man. Holy shit.
I've heard a lot of
Feels
ANET partners
bad,
and
man.
yeah, it just doesn't make sense. I get they want it to be family friendly, but the culture on Twitch is just not that. So it almost feels like a Christian Minecraft server sometimes. Like you're on there, and you want to yell something in all caps, and then boom, you're banned. And you're like, wow.
No Pepe's in my Christian Minecraft channel.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, that's fucking real, dude. That is 100% real. You know, you've got to be able to handle those Pepe spam. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
just let the emotes flow. Just let them flow.
Yeah, you know, exactly. No peepos allowed, guys. Quick, peepos, escape in chat. Quick, chat. Summon the peepos now. It's true, and I think that there could be a bit of a scope because I think Apex is a really great example of this. Okay, now Apex Legends is a game that came out of nowhere, and I think Fortnite too, as well, actually to a certain extent, and all the battle royale games. Okay, one of the reasons why I think everyone's heard of them is because when that game launched, every fucking big streamer was on it. Right, we're talking, you know, I mean, just on Shroud had like 150k viewers or something absolutely insane watching him play this game. Right, so the fact that all the streamers funneled into Apex Legends like massively contributed to the success of the game, right? Because suddenly the dedicated gamers who talk, right, who talk to each other and say, hey, you got to check out this game, man. Okay, they were all watching this game, right? They were all on Apex, and suddenly that's just huge publicity. Yeah, this happened with Bless as well, actually. This happened with Bless, right? This was like the one thing that Bless did well. They got all the streamers in on it. The game was trash, but that's the gamble you got to make, guys. You got to make the game actually good, and then you get the streamers to play it, right? You can't just make a piece of shit and make it good, right? It doesn't work like that.
But with Bless, they knew it was bad, but they memed it anyway, and it was successful in the sense of the amount of viewers that came to watch it. Imagine Guild Wars 2 releasing now. With everything we have now, it's completely new, and all these streamers jumping on it, the game would be even more. I think now the state of the game, it would be so successful. We would have like that directory of 15,000 viewers at least all the time. Versus, you know, because people start discovering raids in the HOT content, and they'd just be like, raids? I thought this game didn't have raids because of the dungeons and fractals, and now raids? And then it'd be like, there's so much to do. But us vets are like, oh yeah, there's raids. Yeah,
no big deal.
Yeah, and that's why we don't have that 15,000 directory, but we could if.
I do genuinely think that it is a powerful tool, right? It is a powerful tool to promote and market the game, and I personally I think PvP could be that way as well. It does work well, like Syndra, Rom, big viewers. Those are the two guys who are still around mostly. But of course, back in the day, you have people like Helsith, loads of people watching Helsith. Okay, you have people like Draza streaming as well. Temporarily, Zan was streaming. Like a lot of the kind of the pro players are like really exciting to watch, and I think, you know, there's a lot of people do want to watch that. And yeah, I think having a lot of people active makes the scene seem alive, certainly, right? You know, that was pretty good, you know, and I do think it can actually be a powerful tool, right? Oh, fucking Leto, yeah, dude, oh my god. And yeah, it's true that Guild Wars 2, I think the problem with PvP, this was mentioned in chat, but PvP is a bit tricky to watch, right? Okay, in Guild Wars 2, it is, because it's quite a complicated game. It's not like just a deathmatch, 2v2 deathmatch, for example. Okay, oh yeah, of course, Chaith, absolutely, yep, he was streaming. Fanta as well, Fantaram, of course, repping that NA Weaver gameplay. Okay, loads of, you know, really great streamers. Okay, but it is a bit. It was pretty difficult. You know, unless you know what's going on in PvP, it's like, you know, what the hell is going on here, right? It's like, there's 3 points. There's players going left and right. There's people teleporting, other players going crazy. Oh, now there's the beast. There's objectives. You know, there's the Lord as well. There's the trebuchet on fucking Kylo, right? You know, oh wait, oh dear. Okay, it's on Reddit. Doroya.
Yeah, I just downloaded it.
Oh dear.
I don't want to see this.
Oh dear.
It's gonna be on Kotaku and
yeah. Doroya is gonna be on PewDiePie again. It's gonna happen, boys. he's going for round. Doroya, guys, I am announcing this now. Doroya is going in for round 2. Okay, he wants more. Okay, maybe not.
No.
But I think I know I actually do like PvP. I really like the ATs. I do enjoy playing in the ATs. Looking to get back into those soon, actually. And to be honest, I think World vs. World. I think World vs. World is a bit of a clown fiesta, but I think it's pretty obvious to see what's going on in World vs. World. To be honest, like, oh yeah, look, we're putting our AOE's. They're all dying. Okay, oh shit, dodge away from the big AOE's. Run away, lads. Okay, I think World vs. World is pretty obvious, right? I think what gets people about it is that it seems to be meaningless. I think if World vs. World was actually like, okay, guys, let's take this map. We're taking over this map. We're capping everything. We're gonna win. Okay, I think that actually might get some viewers on Twitch, right? I think you could actually convince people to watch that, right? You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that could, you know, I do think that competitive gameplay, but I think you can actually include raids in competitive, right? Okay, I think raids are actually, honestly, raids in Guild Wars 2 are probably one of the more competitive aspects of the game at this point, okay? You know, setting records, doing speedruns. Trust me, guys, the drama over just using stacking sigils in a record, woo! Okay, that is just as intense as selling monthly AT. It is extra spicy, guys. Yeah, it can be competitive too. So I think focusing on competitive play can certainly, yeah, will work out for Twitch pretty well. That was a bit of a long-winded answer to that, but there you go, guys. Any more questions? Like the chat is scrolling like crazy. So if I missed your question, just go ahead and ask it again, guys. Okay, and we can get there. We'll do a few more. The show's going on a little bit. Okay, so we'll do a few more questions. Wait, what's up?
Yeah, you idiot. Check Discord real quick.
Wait, hang on. Yeah, hang on. Wait. Wait. Oh shit! Oh, okay. All right, I don't have this up. Okay, so yeah, guys, one more question because Deroya's got to go. Okay, one more, and we've got to go.
Yeah.
Okay, right. It's got to be about the game, though, guys. It's got to be about the game because Deroya is a busy bee, and he's getting the hell out of here. Okay, right.
I need to poke Snowdrop about deleting that thread. Easy.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
How do you think they need to? Okay, let's do this one. This is a good one. How do you think they need to make change the living world to make it better? I actually don't know. Deroya, hit us with it.
Wait, sorry. What was the question?
How do they need to change living world to make it better?
Make him, I mean, more repeatable as a group content instead of just having everything be. So, in my opinion, that is. Living World is a solo experience all the way to the meta events with the large circs. All of it is solo, basically. In my opinion, what I'd love to do is put the actual rewards behind the story, make the stories into dungeons instead. Have Joko be an actual dungeon boss with 5 players, and gate the rewards behind that. Actual people trying, make stuff repeatable beyond just a solo experience. That's my opinion. That's the bare minimum that I'd change. There's a million other things that you change. I mean, they're doing great with the tools that they have, but we need new tools for the living story because it's the same thing every single time. That's the issue, really. For me, that's the only issue is that it's just one map after another feels like the same with another slap of paint on it. So yeah, I just love to see the solo aspect change in an MMO. Yep.
Would you agree with that, Zorik? You agree with that?
That's it. You know, take what Dror just said, copy paste. I mean, we're missing content that pulls us together, and it that's it. We're in an MMO. We're playing solo player, right? It's just not bringing life to the game, and we need that right now.
Okay. The one thing I would add to that is I would slightly change the way the narrative is. Like, one thing that does put me off a bit is that we are like the absolute center of the story. I am not a big fan of that. I would prefer the world to be around you, okay, rather than you being at the center of the world, okay. You know, like everyone's like, yes, I am the most important person ever. Yeah, okay, yeah. Can we not do that? And I actually think a big problem with the living story that makes it a little bit. I find myself losing engagement is how like the villains are not good. Okay, Joko is an actually compelling villain. Okay, there's a Twitch clip of me talking about this. Okay, because Joko was actually evil, right? But he also had a personality, right? He was a very interesting character to play against, right? Because he was evil. You're like, what's he gonna do next? He was always like doing stupid jokes. Okay, like, you know, kind of like sassing you. He was relatable. right? Okay, like you could like, oh shit, you know, but he was also evil. Okay, whereas when we're fighting the dragons, it's almost like fighting a tornado. Okay, like or fighting a tsunami. It's like, well, you know. They don't really have much personality, do they? Right? I think there's no. I would like to have villains that have motivations, right? You know what I mean? Okay. And to be honest, I would like the story to be a bit darker. That's why I was really impressed actually with the recent episodes, because it always seems like let's go for a romp in a field with flowers and you know, and sun shining and the clouds are so happy. You know, that's what the Guild Wars 2 story was like, right? It was like this big romp across the world. Like, oh, what time are you going to do next? Kind of meme, right? But now that we actually have a bit of darkness, like I think it's going in the right direction, a bit of edge to it, a little bit of edge, you know, but just a little bit. Yeah, a bit of edge.
We need a powerful villain that's going to stick around and do the things. It's against the commander, but it's in the best interest of the other side. You know what I mean? Like, oh, the world's in dismay, time to take power type of thing. And we just don't have that villain because they keep killing him off. We get these characters, but we're not getting something out of them. We get just enough to care maybe, and then they're gone. We need a villain that it's like, what are they doing this time? Or, you know, it makes victories actually feel so. Like, instead of beating a dragon, whoop-de-doo, let's, like, the villain's trying to do this, we stop them. And then the villain has to sort of recollect, rebuild, whatever it may be, so they'll come back at us with that counter thing. And there's no push and pull anymore. It just feels like we're sort of on this wave that's going, but we need something that's a cliff that's just going to stop us and make us think like, oh, this is bigger than the commander. This is the entire world that needs to really start moving on this. And the commander's just sort of there moving different parts. And it just hasn't happened in some time. But that's funny. That's how the story started, and people got mad because Traherne sort of hijacked the story. But again, we weren't an important person. Traherne was. He was the leader of the pact. And that's why I wasn't so against that character. But I do think he hijacked it a little bit too much versus, you know, we doing something great and him giving us, you know, praise.
Yeah. I mean, that is a good point, right? Like, the Traherne is, you know, kind of, you know, having him as the center was you know, that was the other approach. But again, it was you know, it's very difficult to actually execute this in MMO, right? Like, let's get, you know, let's talk about it. It's very difficult. Like, we're asking a lot here to get this right. But I think, you know, the original Guild Wars 2 story was a bit of a clown fiesta, honestly, especially with the ending. Like, you know, you got to fire those cannons at Zhaitan, guys. You got to fire those cannons. But you know, it is what it is, right? And but yeah, certainly. I would definitely agree with the group content thing. That would just be across the game in general, right? But giving a bit more meat and replayability to these Livy story maps, apart from just the rewards, okay, I think it will be a really, really big deal. All right, because as it stands right now, the only reason people stick around in these living story maps is until they've got like all the basic achievements, and they'll stay in it if it's a good gold farm, right? Like, people just play Istan because it's a good gold farm, not because it's particularly engaging content, okay? Like, pressing F on chests isn't really that good. But, you know, that's just how it goes. Although I think, wait, guys, we better wrap up that question because Deroya has gotta go. Okay, so I mean, wow, what a tea time, guys! What a show! I might stick around a little bit afterwards, guys, to answer the more questions and talk to you guys in the chat a little bit more. But this is going to be the end of the official tea time. So let's quickly wrap this up, guys. So Deroya, the rando asshat, okay. The roast man. He has gone so fucking hard on the game right now, guys. He has destroyed Guild Wars 2 in debate today. Okay, it got ultra spicy. Where can we find you on Twitch and YouTube?
You can find me on at Deroya Goes Ham. No, I'm just kidding. I'm there. I'm almost every day on Twitch at Deroya Gaming, or just Deroya actually. You can find me there. And also on YouTube. Same name. Check me out. I say stuff. Talk about the game. Not like we've always done today. But yes. Or not always like we've done today. But you get the gist. I love this game. I'm sticking around. Don't worry, guys. Even though I can get mad, we can all get passionate. Yeah. Check out the content. It's gonna be a good week. All right, coming up. Hey.
Okay.
That's about it.
So then, returning. I mean, as the positivity, guys, okay? Angry Zorik, not living up to the name. It's positives. Happy Zorik, okay? It's balancing out the toxicity of me and Deroya, okay? Where can we locate you, my friend?
You can find me on YouTube, Angry Zorik, here on Twitch. I stream variety. I do a lot of Guild Wars 2. If you ever have questions about the game, you can always find me, ask me. And also, go follow me on Twitter. If you want to see me rant and talk about different things that have nothing to do with anything. And that's pretty much it. Nothing else. I just show up in different streams once in a while. That's just about it.
Okay. Well, there you go. And finally, if you thought this tea time was good, oh boy, wait till you see the next one, because, I mean, then we'll actually know what's happened, so we can go even harder. But no, okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. If you did, I stream every day.
Good chat.
Oh, absolutely a good chat. These things I do. I'll tea time every week-ish, vaguely, okay, as long as there's something, good topics to talk about. Well, that was going to happen. But of course, you can follow this stream. I stream every day. If you want to hear my opinion on things, you can always come and ask me, and I'll give you some kind of answer at least, probably. Oh, I'll miss that. No, I never miss comments and chats. So. Fuck. Oh man, I'm dying now. But yeah, follow the stream, guys. Subscribe to the stream, guys. Twitch Prime. Okay, let's do this, guys. Okay, so we're all Twitch streamers. Okay, all of us here. Okay, we stream on Twitch. And Twitch is owned by Amazon.
Let's go.
Subscribe, guys. Seriously, if you're not hitting the sub button right now, what are you doing? Okay, look, we've just given you the juiciest content, okay, ever. Okay, and you're not subscribed? Are you kidding me, guys? Yeah. Are you fucking kidding me? So, go click on that sub button, guys. You know what? I'm going there right now.
For everyone, all of us. Let's go.
I'm going up. Okay, I'm going up. Look, guys. Okay, there's the sub button. Click on that sub button. It will tell you if you got Twitch Prime. Subscribe for free with Twitch Prime, guys. Do it now. Okay, do it now. Or with real money, whatever you do, really. But yeah, tea time is vaguely weekly. That is the case. Okay, but there you have it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Follow everyone here. Okay, subscribe to them on YouTube as well. Okay, follow on Twitter, guys, so you can get those spicy bants on Twitter. We're gonna start roasting on Twitter. It's gonna be great. Okay, yeah, come back and watch every single day, and yeah. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys in the YouTube comment section. Okay, we're all gonna reply. And remember what we said. Remember what we said about positive comments, guys. Remember what we said. Okay. Yeah.
We need the positivity.
Yeah. Let's get some positivity.
Do it.
We had our rants. Now it's on to the positivity. Only PMA from here on.
Yeah. Only PMA. PMA only. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye, YouTube. See you guys later.
Bye bye.
Bye, YouTube.